Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari जय विश्वपाद परमहंस परिवाचार्य श्रोत श्रीमद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ISKCON founder-acharya BBT founder श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय विश्वपाद परमहंस परिवाचार्य श्रोत श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नाम आचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी महारानी की समेत गौर भक्त वृंद की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees हरे कृष्ण ऑल ग्लोरीज टू assembled devotees ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, we'll continue our discussions on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 12.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्णा प्रभु जी क्या हुआ?
सुनाई दे रहा है ना ऑनलाइन?
हाँ सुनाई दे रहे हैं पूजा, अच्छा सुनाई दे रहे हैं।
नहीं, हम चेक कर रहे हैं, उधर का आवाज इधर नहीं आ रहा। कोई बोलेगा क्या वहां से ऑनलाइन?
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल।
आ रहा है, वॉल्यूम कम है।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। आवाज आ रहा है? हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम
Hare
राम हरे।
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Devotees, online please, somebody, can you speak Hare Krishna?
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. सुनाई दे रहा है ना उनका?
हाँ प्रभु जी, आवाज आ रहा है, आवाज आ रहा है प्रभु जी, वी आर एबल टू हियर प्रभु जी।
ठीक है ना, ठीक है ना। सब ठीक हो जाएगा। ठीक है, आज लास्ट क्लास है, उसके बाद जो भी करना है, तब तक जो भी थोड़ा फोड़ी करना है करो। ओके, सो वेयर आर वी? हरे कृष्ण। Creatures such as the twin are life by unalloyed love for me, and thus very easily achieved me. Okay, so till now, Lord Krishna was talking about the importance of association over all the other process. And now he is specifically talking about the most exalted devotees, and that is the inhabitants of Vrindavan. So, kevalena hi bhavena. So all these residents of Vrindavan, they only practiced kevala bhakti, pure, unalloyed, unmotivated devotional service. So all of them, Gopya Gava Naga Mariga. So it doesn't make any difference whether it is gopis or cows or even the trees, animals. ये क्या इको क्यों आ रहा है? So, including bushes, thickets, even Kalya. So, of course, they all came to that platform. But the important point is, in the spiritual world, all of them are in pure consciousness. Yesterday only I was hearing Prabhupada's lecture. Very interesting. Srila Prabhupada says, so in the spiritual world, if there's an ant, so there are ants in the spiritual world also. Everything is there, has to be there. So if there's an ant, and the ant somehow, no, the ant is on a flower, and somebody offers the flower to Krishna's lotus feet, and the ant lands on Krishna's lotus feet and kisses Krishna's lotus feet. Prabhupada is saying. Then that ant achieves the same perfection as the pujari who offered the flower. No difference. So on the spiritual platform, everything is kevala bhakti. So that is what is being said over here. So in the spiritual worlds, in Golok Vrindavan, so Krishna is enjoying variety of rasas, and all of them are perfect. So there's nothing higher, lower. So purport. Although innumerable living entities achieve liberation by association with the Lord and His devotees, many such personalities also execute other processes such as austerity, charity, philosophical speculation, and so on. As we have already explained, such procedures are secondary. But the inhabitants of Vrindavan, such as the gopis, do not know anything except Lord Krishna. And their whole purpose in life was simply to love Lord Krishna, as indicated here by the words kevalena hi bhavena. Even the trees, bushes, and hills, such as Govardhan, loved Lord Krishna. And then he's quoting this verse from the 10th canto. Aho amideva varamararchitam padambujam te sumana falarhanam namantyupadaya shikabhiratmanas tamopahatya taru janma yatkritam. My dear brother Baldev, just see how these trees are bowing down with their branches and offering obeisances to your lotus feet, which are worshipable even by the demigods. Indeed, my dear brother, you are the supreme God, and thus these trees have produced fruits and flowers as an offering to you. Although living entity takes birth as a tree due to the mode of ignorance, certainly by such a birth in Vrindavan, these trees are destroying all darkness in their lives by serving your lotus feet. Although many living entities achieve the mercy of Lord Krishna by associating with the Lord and his devotees in various ways, those who, those who take Lord Krishna as everything and are situated in the highest process of spiritual realization. Therefore, the Lord has not bothered to mention in this verse those who achieve perfection through mixed processes, but rather glorifies the unalloyed devotees of Vrindavan, headed by the gopis who knew nothing but Lord Krishna. The residents of Vrindavan were so satisfied in their relationship with Lord Krishna that they did not pollute their loving service with mental speculation or fruitive desires. The gopis served Lord Krishna in the conjugal ras or relationship, whereas according to Srila Vishwacharya Thakur, the cows loved Lord Krishna in Vatsalya ras or the love of parents for a child, because the cows were always supplying milk to child Krishna. Unmoving objects like Govardhan Hill and other hills and mountains loved Lord Krishna as a friend, and the ordinary animals, trees and bushes of Vrindavan loved Lord Krishna in Dasya ras, or with love of a servant for his master. Snakes like Kalya also developed this love in servitude, and after relishing their loving service to Lord Krishna, all of them went back home, back to Godhead. According to Srila Vishwacharya Thakur, all those inhabitants of Vrindavan should be considered eternally liberated souls, as expressed by the word Siddha, which means having achieved the perfection of life. So Vishwacharya Thakur says, the inhabitants of Raja are most special by bhavas without mixture of karma or gyan, without desires, by bhakti yoga with madhurya, vatsalya, sakya and dasya bhavas they attain me. The gopis attain me with madhurya ras, the cows attain me by vatsalya ras, the mountains like Govardhan attain me with sakya ras, the animals, the trees, shrubs, though unintelligent, snakes like Kali attain me with dasya ras, the nitya siddha devotees attain me after expressing purva rag, attraction and separation before meeting the Lord during earthly pastimes, though they were associated with him in previous pastimes. Without beginning, the nitya siddha devotees are already in possession of the Lord with their pure bhakti. Otherwise, the word nitya siddha would be meaningless. The cows of Vrindavan. Right time, huh? So here there is, in these three verses, I suppose, there is description of 3 or 4 verses. There's description of the Rajvasis till the 12th verse. 13th. Okay. So what makes the devotional service of the Brajvasi so special? As we know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has specifically come to give this Vraja Prem, which from an objective viewpoint is considered as the most intimate, and as Lord Krishna himself is thinking, as we read in the 4th chapter of the Adi Lila, that Lord Krishna also thinks that most people worship me with awe and reverence, but devotional service which is mixed with this awe and reverence does not please me so much. So therefore, it's only the residents of Vrindavan who worship Krishna without that awe and reverence and all these various rasas. And that is the purpose of Lord Krishna's descent as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, specifically to give this Vraja Prem. And even amongst the various rasas, we know that there is a hierarchy. Though, of course, all of them are perfect, but still, as Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes, that in an unbiased way, if one analyzes the various rasas, then there is a hierarchy, and therefore the topmost is the Madhuri ras. But of course, all the rasas are pleasing to Krishna, and Krishna associates with different devotees in different rasas, and the variety is what Krishna definitely relishes and he wants that variety. So therefore, all the devotees are perfect in their specific rasas. So just like Hanuman never thinks of becoming a gopi. So, and Krishna is perfectly happy in that relationship with each of the devotees. He needs that variety. Variety is mother of enjoyments. And so therefore all the rasas are perfect, but yet there is a hierarchy. Okay. So what makes, because here the description is in the further verses specifically about the gopis. Okay, Vrajvasis and specifically the gopis, as the well-known verse, Ramya Kachidupasana Brajavadu Vargi Naya Kalpita. So Mahaprabhu is specifically glorifying the devotional service of the gopis, and that's what we need to follow in the footsteps. So what makes that so special? The devotional service of the Vrajvasis and especially the gopis.
Prabhu, they are not, there's no niyamagraha, there is no force from outside. It's intrinsically within them. It's, there is no fear or anything of that sort. They just love, like you love your child or you love your father. It's very spontaneous.
Okay.
I'm speaking about the gopis. So it's very spontaneous. So it's that parakya rasa versus when you're married to a woman, then you have the expectation, this, do that. Whereas here, parakya rasa, there is no expectation, just pure love. They do whatever is liked by the other person, not for their own enjoyment.
Okay, so you're saying that
No
any expectation for oneself.
oneself.
Prabhuji,
But
I
I think
feel that selflessness, actually, that to please Krishna selflessly, there's no expectation from the other end. They only this like a one way. But I only want to please Krishna. Ashrishava padarapinashtuma.
Yes, okay, good point. Selflessness only to Krishna.
they have sacrificed everything. Their this life also and next life also. Ya dharma paradharma. There. So because they sacrifice their home, their children, their husbands, and even because they have lost chastity, the next life is also sacrifice. They don't know where they will go from their point of view. So because they have made more sacrifice than even sannyasis would make, so therefore they are more glorified. And Krishna says, I can't pay your debt because of that selfless, intimate love for Krishna.
Okay, good point. Selfless sacrifice. Good. हाँ बोलिए.
Hare Krishna. Brajavasis have the life of center is Krishna, and they want to serve Lord and please Him because that is their life ultimate purpose. That how we can please and serve the Lord for His pleasure. No
Yes.
other priorities for the.
Yes, good point. So there is one statement which Srila Prabhupada writes in 1st canto, 2nd chapter, 6th verse, purport. This is an amazing statement. It's a small statement, but it is the… Yes. The relation of servant and the served is the most congenial form of intimacy. The relation of servant and served is the most congenial form of intimacy. Okay, somebody would like to briefly explain this because this is the essence of the further discussion. This statement is the essence of the discussion. So, and this also applies in our own lives, practically speaking. So, we'll just discuss this statement a little bit and then proceed. Okay, somebody would like to explain this statement?
So, in any relationship, the first important thing is the role, what role one is playing. Otherwise, there is a hodgepodge. So, one is already eternal master and one is eternal servant. Nityo Nityanam Chetnas Chetananam. So one is fully dependent and other is fully competent to take care of the other person. Saranyam Saranyam. So he can completely protect the self, he can give shelter, always protect him. So this is one of the things. So both of them, they know their roles very well. And then there the dependence already there. So Jiva's dependence on the Lord,
I want to help him to come up, and servant want to selflessly want to sacrifice and dedicate.
Yes, good point. In the material world, all material relationships are in the mode of exploitation. Both the master is trying to exploit the servant is trying to exploit the master. So what will be that type of relationship? Will there be any intimacy? No, there cannot be any intimacy. It will be very superficial, totally motivated relationship. So then there cannot be any intimacy. Okay, somebody wants to add something little online?
Yes, competition for service. Prabhu, am I going to serve you more or are you going to serve me more? Like that, because he is the greatest servant, the Lord, as I see it. And so no one can compete with him. And then when we understand that point, then we start to relish service.
Okay, good point. So there's competition for serving more and more, not for taking service, but for giving service. There's competition for that. Yes, good point. So that's
master
Vaikuntha competition. Bolo?
where master trusts the servant in his absence also, where he can, like Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur trusted Srila Prabhupada, and he was pointing that one person will do this task. And Prabhupada also, they did not take any facilities, but he carried out the mission of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur very cautiously and pleased Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur.
Okay, fine. Yes, good point.
Guruji, when Dhritarashtra's servant, when he found that his master did not tell him and went, Sanjay. So then Sanjay was feeling so much missing him, that how come my master could not tell me?
He has cheated me.
Yeah, cheated me. So I was just thinking when you told about the intimacy, so how much they were too much intimate. Of course, he is a master and he is servant, and maybe Dasya kind we can say. And he knows what is Dhritarashtra, who is Dhritarashtra. But still, the relationship of servant, being a servant and a master is completely different only. Even if the master is not up to the mark there, then what to speak of, of the Lord, and when it is a favorable condition.
Right. So in the important point here is that the intimacy in any, it's a very general principle Prabhupada has given. The intimacy in any relationship, even amongst devotees, right? In this world, the principle applies everywhere. If we want intimacy to increase in any relationship, what has to increase? The selfless service attitude has to increase. The more there is selflessness, the more there is intimacy. And the more there is selfishness, more the relationship will be very, very superficial. And therefore we find in the modern day, relationships are so superficial that they break at the slightest excuse. Maybe you remember Chaitanya Prabhu was giving that example of temperature of the AC. Cause for divorce. So deep relationship. can't agree on temperature of AC, therefore divorce. And Srila Prabhupada says in Vedic times, no question of divorce. So that's how relationships have become so superficial these days. What to speak of husband and wife, even between parents and children, between brothers, all types of relationships have become so superficial because of a lack of service attitude. The exploitative mentality and thinking what's in it for me has become the prime motivation for any relationship.
Prabhu, there is a reason, there is a science behind it. Can I add, Prabhu?
What's that?
There is a particular science behind it, Prabhu, to actually understand this, why this is happening.
What's
I just
that?
wanted to add. See, Prabhu, this world is limited. Everything is limited. So we can't expect competition not to be there. When we attach ourselves to limited, 100% there is going to be snatch, because there's limited. But
Correct.
when we take ourselves to the unlimited, there is no fear. There is no fear, there is no anger, there is no hatred, because unlimited. Are, de do. So more we go towards ourself or the Lord, we are connected to the unlimited and we don't care. Just take it. Give. Whereas here, very little we have, 100 rupees, 1,000, 1 crore rupees, still it is limited. We have to snatch out here. So more we levitate towards the unlimited, the infinite, the more we become servants. Or servants.
Yes, there is no scarcity in the spiritual world. Here there's a lot of competition, material competition as purposes.
The point is that when we as Jiva associate or think of ourselves as the body for sure on one end, then there is hell that breaks loose. And when we say that we are connected to Krishna and we are the soul, I am sure about it, then the service attitude comes.
Yes, that's correct. So on the spiritual platform, the more one realizes one's relationship with Krishna, then yes, everything is unlimited, no need of any material competition, because one has full faith in Krishna and Krishna is able to provide in unlimited ways. So, but the important point here is the intimacy is because of the selflessness. And even in these various rasas, beginning from Dasya to Sakya to Vatsalya and Madhurya, what is increasing? Yes, the selflessness is what is increasing more and more, and therefore the intimacy becomes more and more. And as Srila Prabhupada in his lectures, as described by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the 4th chapter of the Adi Leela, he describes that how the gopis' very sustenance is for Krishna's pleasure. They decorate themselves very wonderfully, only for Krishna's pleasure. There is no other aim. And of course, we know the well-known story of Krishna having a headache, and the gopis even ready to go to hell for relieving Krishna's headache. And of course, so the most exalted devotees also have that same mood, that it does not matter where we are, we simply want to serve. Narayana prasarve na kutushna bibhiti swarga apavarga narkeshu apitulyartha darshanaham. And we did quote this quite a few times. Srila Prabhupada also in his diary on March 6, 1966 has written, anyone remembers? We quoted this a few times. March 6, 1966, the Nacha is on the ship. So Srila Prabhupada has written, is there in Prabhupada's diary. Today is the Adivas of Gaur Purnima, and all my friends and God brothers are happily celebrating Gaur Purnima, but I am alone here in New York. But I do not mind the inconvenience, because I am simply trying to fulfill the instructions of the Supreme Lord and my spiritual master, and for doing this, I am even ready to go to hell. Same mood. And so that was Srila Prabhupada's mood. So Srila Prabhupada was even ready to go to hell to preach and to serve his spiritual master. And in his lectures also Srila Prabhupada says, Narad Muni also goes to hell to preach. Narad Muni goes everywhere. He goes to heaven, he goes to hell, he goes everywhere to preach. And so Srila Prabhupada says, so devotees should not be afraid of even going to hell. Prabhupada is saying. So the point is that that is the ultimate platform. That's the aspiration. So following in the footsteps, we can never imitate, but then at least that is our aspiration, that we are ready to go through some inconveniences for the sake of pleasing the Supreme Lord. And the more one is ready to do that, the more the intimacy increases. Intimacy with Krishna, intimacy with the spiritual master. So the intimacy increases because of the service attitudes. And so it is not based on physical association. So without as sometimes devotees these days complain that, oh, we're not getting any association with spiritual master. So, but the intimacy does not develop simply by a physical association of meeting, but the intimacy develops because of the service attitudes. I think so. I did mention this pastime of Niranjan Maharaj once in a class. Anybody remembers Niranjan Maharaj pastime?
He was cleaning the room.
Last time we told them. You remember? But so anybody remembers now? Online, anybody remembers the pastime? Niranjan Maharaj pastime? Okay, fine. Anyways,
See, you had mentioned that Niranjan Maharaj was cleaning the room. One of his servants had said that you please clean the room. And actually, Prabhupada did not happen to come in that room. But then the servant took Niranjan Maharaj to the airport. And that's where, His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj, he got the darshan of Srila Prabhupada.
yes, that's correct. That's the essence of the pastime. Everyone remembers that? You remember, no? So even though Srila Prabhupada never came and stayed in those rooms, which Niranjan Maharaj not only just cleaned, but he helped practically in the construction of those rooms or renovation of those rooms. So many days and nights he spent doing that renovation, painting, cleaning, everything he did. And the result of that was, even though Srila Prabhupada never came to stay, but for the first time, even though by the time Niranjan Maharaj was already second initiated, but till that time he had not seen Srila Prabhupada face to face even once. Srila Prabhupada and his disciples have set a very high benchmark. So who can complain? I don't think so there's any such devotee now who can say, I'm twice initiated, I never had darshan of my spiritual master even once. And yet going on enthusiastically with my service. So that was the situation. But then Srila Prabhupada, by his causeless mercy, arranged for that meeting at the airport. That was the reciprocation for the service. Okay, fine. So that's what is special about Vraja Bhakti, Vraja Prem. It is the level of intimacy that is on the highest platform because of the high level of selflessness in service. And so that's the essential principle in all relationships. So even amongst devotees, sometimes even devotees ask, how can we have, even brahmacharis also ask, how can we have better relationship amongst devotees? It has nothing to do with physical association or physical proximity. It is all based on the service attitude. More there is the service attitude, automatically the relationships become intimate because that selfless attitude touches the heart. That is what moves a person's heart, and he feels obliged. And that's why Krishna told the gopis, I cannot repay. Krishna was feeling indebted. Why? Because of the selfless service of the gopis. That is what touches, nothing else. So, that is the important lesson to learn from these gopis. Okay, let's proceed.
One question. Just question, Prabhu. the difference between, say, just Hanuman, he also gives up everything intimately related to Rama versus, I mean, he gave up himself completely for Rama. And the Sakhis, they also gave themselves, but even their bodies, I mean, everything put together, they gave. What is the exact difference? How to understand
Uh,
this?
can you please repeat exact difference between what?
Dasya Bhav, like taking Hanuman into
Ah.
picture, and Madhurya Bhav taking gopis into picture. It just looks externally different, but externally scaled. But both are, sort of
Yes,
similar in terms of service.
both are definitely on the platform of prema, and both definitely are selflessly serving Krishna or Rama. So therefore, both are perfect. There is no difference. There is no difference. Yet there is a difference.
What is that, though, exactly?
That is only the difference. The difference is in the level of selflessness, the level of intimacy, the level of so Krishna is sold out by the love of the gopis. And what to speak of, not only just sold out, but he says, I cannot even repay. So,
Is
therefore,
it something to do with the body that, see, because gopis are ladies,
no,
and do we have to take a lady, I mean,
no,
a
no, no.
feminine,
There is
feminine?
nothing external in that. There is absolutely
No, no, correct, correct, correct. But in that feminine, there is a quality
no,
which is not there.
no. Male, female, first of all, male, female is only on the material platform. On the spiritual platform, there's no male, female. And so,
Like,
therefore,
say, for Dandakaranya, they could have still been male and then served, but they still took the body of women, I mean, Sakhis. I mean, there has to be something, Prabhu, like, not as we understand or we see it, not physically, but some aspect, some quality, which is not there in Dasya, which I am not able to comprehend because limited by understanding.
as far as my knowledge goes, so that very pastime that you quoted of the sages of Dandakaranya becoming gopis, in the Nectar of Devotion, in that context itself, Srila Prabhupada writes that the external material body has nothing to do with one's form in the spiritual world. And so therefore, the men also can become the men of this world can become gopis, ladies of this world can become gopas. So the material body has nothing to do with one's eternal spiritual relationship. And so therefore, there's nothing to do with the external body. It is all based upon one's service. That's my understanding.
Female Madhurya cannot be there, even in spiritual world. The male and female means male not Purusha and Prakriti, we can say clearly. So that is there. That is Prabhupada also says that is the most proper way of Madhurya. That is there in the spiritual world. So that is spiritual body. We cannot compare it on material platform.
Yes.
So even if we cannot understand also what is male and female in the spiritual world, there is no use of comparing. But Prabhupada says that that is only the best, the highest way one can serve Krishna in that body of the gopi. That's why they have like that relationship.
Yes.
Prabhuji, but your point, no, that as जैसे जैसे selflessness बढ़ेगी वैसे वैसे वृद्धि होगी. This is such a golden point, and it's such a beautiful point. Even मुझे भी आज तक इतना ज्ञान नहीं था, but this point is so very nice. I liked it a lot, Prabhuji. कि जैसे जैसे selflessness बढ़ गया. And Prabhuji, also, a soul is not independent enjoyer, no, but a servant by nature. So
Yes.
when originally identity is revived, then intimacy with Krishna will also naturally awaken when they say that Bhakti Yogena Manasi Samyak. So, and Jivera Sarup Hoy Nityere Krishna Das. So, it will keep on increasing. No, the servant lives only for the pleasure of Krishna. And there is no competition, there is no ego, there is no demand. Love is just flowing nicely in one direction towards Krishna, and it is so pure form of love actually that
Yes.
you're not expecting anything from Krishna.
Yes, that's right. Okay, fine. So we'll proceed now. Ninth verse. Yam na yogena sankhena dana vrata tapodhvarai vyakhya swadhyaya sannyase prapnuyad yatnavanapi. Even the one engages with great endeavor in the mystic yoga system, philosophical speculation, charity, vows, penances, ritualistic sacrifices, teaching of Vedic mantras to others, personal study of the Vedas, or the renowned star of life, still one cannot achieve me. So, the similar point which the Lord has already made. Lord Krishna here explains that it's very difficult to achieve his personal association, even for one who seriously endeavors to reach the absolute truth. We were discussing yesterday also the point of Sudurlabha. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, says the gopis and cows, were always living with Lord Krishna, and thus the association is called satsang. Anyone who is favorably living with the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes sat or eternal, and thus the association of such a person can immediately award others pure devotional service to the Lord. And then he's talking about some of these activities. And then Dharmas manushyata pumsan vishwasthena kadasuya notpadya yadritim shrama eva hi kevalam. So anyway, we have already discussed this point before. Okay, 10. Ramena sardham mathuram pranite shvafalkina mai anurakta chittaha vigada bhavena name viyoga tivradhayonyam dadrishu sukhaya. Okay, read.
Krishna, the residents of Vrindavan, headed by the gopis, were always completely attached to me with deepest love. Therefore, when my uncle Akrura brought my brother Balram and me to the city of Mathura, the residents of Vrindavan suffered extreme mental distress because of separation from me and could not find any other source of happiness.
Yes. Of course, we know that this distress is not like material distress. This is the highest level of happiness, feeling separation. Because that separation leads to increased remembrance. Chitta vighada bhavena na me viyoga tivra adhaya. Tivra adhaya. So intense distress. But that leads to the highest level of spiritual happiness. This verse especially describes the sentiments of the cowherd girls of Vrindavan, the gopis, and Lord Krishna here reveals the incomparable love they felt for him. As explained in the 10th canto, Lord Krishna's uncle Akrura, sent by Kamsa, came to Vrindavan and took Krishna and Balram back to Mathura for a wrestling event. The gopis loved Lord Krishna so much that in his absence their consciousness was completely absorbed in spiritual love. Thus, their Krishna consciousness is considered the highest perfectional stage of life. They were always expecting that Lord Krishna would finish his business of killing demons and return to them, and therefore their anxiety was an extremely moving, heart-rending display of love. Anyone desiring true happiness must take to the devotional service of the Lord in the spirit of the gopis, giving up everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Okay, so that's trying to follow in the footsteps of the gopis. So, Vishnu Thakur commenting on this verse, he says, the love of the gopis is the most outstanding of all. This is described in 4 verses. When I was decisively taken to Mathura by Akrura, the gopis did not see anyone other than me to give them happiness. Since their hearts were completely attached to me, on the 6th level of prema, that is anurag, very intense love. So what are these stages of prema? No, it starts with prema, right? Prema, then pranaya, raga, mana, anuraga, then mahabhav, right? Sneha. Sneha and Pranaya, Sneha, Raga, Mana, Anuraga and Mahabha. Yes, so these are the 6 stages of prema. No, I don't know. At least I don't know.
Prabhuji, what is the question he's asking?
He's asking what is the difference between these 6 stages.
Prabhuji, may I attempt?
No, that I think so. This that subject matter is not necessarily discussed at this point.
Okay, okay. I'll put it on the WhatsApp group, Prabhuji. It's
Oh,
from, yeah, because this is actually in Ujjwal Neelmani also, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita also it is described, Prabhuji.
yes, yes. Here there is a quotation from Vishwanath Thakur is giving quotation from Ujjwal Neelamani here, and the next verse purport. So then he continues. He says, entering the next stage of Mahabhava, containing Ruda Bhava, they suffered intense pain because of separation. The past tense is used. They did not see anything except me for happiness. They did not see anything except me for happiness. This suggests that their suffering ended. After killing Dantavakra, I united with the gopis again and remained in that state. So after killing Dantavakra, Krishna goes back, right, to Vrindavan, and then he sends them back to the spiritual world. Everyone, all the Brajvasis. Okay, 11. Tastakshapa preshtatmena nita mayeva vrindavana gocharena kshanardhavatta punarangatasam hina maya kalpasama bhavu.
Dear Uddhav, all of those nights that the gopis spent with me, their most dearly beloved, in the land of Vrindavan, seemed to them to pass in less than a moment. Bereft of my association, however, the gopis felt that those same nights dragged on forever, as if each night were equal to a day of Brahma.
Read the first part of the purport.
Srila Swami comments as follows. The gopis suffered extreme anxiety in the absence of Lord Krishna, and though outwardly appearing bewildered, they actually achieved the highest perfectional stage of samadhi. Their consciousness was intensely and intimately attached to Lord Krishna, and by such Krishna consciousness, their own bodies seemed very far away from them, even though people normally consider their body to be their closest possession. In fact, the gopis did not think about their own existence. Although a young woman normally considers her husband and children to be her dearmost possessions, the gopis did not even consider the existence of their so-called families, nor could they think of this world or life after death. Indeed, they were not at all aware of these things. Just like great sages who became detached from the names and forms of the material world, the gopis could not think of anything because they were wrapped in loving remembrance of Lord Krishna. Just as the rivers enter the ocean, similarly the gopis completely merged into the consciousness of Lord Krishna through intense love. Thus the day of Brahma seemed like a single moment for the gopis when Lord Krishna was present with them, and a single moment seemed like a day of Brahma when Lord Krishna was absent. The Krishna consciousness of the gopis is the perfection of the spiritual life, and the symptoms of such a perfection are described here.
Srila Prabhupada describes this very beautifully in one of the lectures. So he says, quoting Shikshashtakam, 7th verse of the Shikshashtakam, what's that? Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. So, in separation from Krishna, I am feeling one moment to be like 12 years or more. And then Srila Prabhupada is saying, so just like even in this world we have some experience. So it's just like if there is some person whom we love, Anyone, it could be anyone, some lover or anyone for that matter. And suppose we know that person is going to come at such and such time. So then what happens? One is eagerly waiting for that person. And even if one hears some sound, immediately what thought comes? Oh, maybe he has come. So one will open the door and, oh, he has not come. Again there is some sound. Again, oh, maybe he has come. So Prabhupada says, this is called expectant psychology. Expectant psychology. And Srila Prabhupada says that when one experiences this, then one can understand that one has developed some love. So that is, Prabhupada puts it in a way that we can have some understanding. So each one of us can think for ourselves how much we have that great eagerness, anticipation, when.
Many times we hear about this thing, like as you give the example. So even Mother Rukmini, when she was expecting that Krishna would accept or not, so at that time she was in great anxiety. And here gopis are in great anxiety. Then why it is said that they are in great ecstasy? That means they are not feeling. Those who are commenting, they must be feeling. But the thing is that they are not feeling. They are always in anxiety.
So that is why, so that we get some understanding, Srila Prabhupada is giving an example which we can understand. The point is, we don't know when we ever had that experience.
Means, if you ask the devotee, what do you want? So they will say, I want Sambhog. Means, I don't know whether they will say that. I'm just guessing like that. If they ask whether you want Vipralamba or Sambhog, so what they will choose? We want to meet Krishna. But if Vipralamba gives the highest bhava, then why don't they choose that?
So first of all, to answer your question, first of all, we have to know what is Sambhog and Vipralamba. Srila Prabhupada says, see, when will we feel separation from someone? No. First of all, what has to be there? Some love has to be there, right? When there is some love, then some feeling of separation will be there. So now, at least I can say there is even the understanding of love is too far, forget about experience. So when love itself is too far, where is the question of Vipralamba? Where is the question? So therefore, then the Sahajiyas, they only talk about meeting and this and that, then it's all Sahajiya Bhav. Then it's all very cheap. So therefore, all these things are beyond my comprehension. Therefore, there is, even if we discuss something about it, it's all so theoretical. We can discuss, but it'll be so theoretical. Because there is no love only, then where is the question of Vipralamba? The only one experience maybe we can little bit have is prasadam. Krishna in the form of prasadam. Maybe some Vipralamba is there. Especially on Nirjala Ekadashi, maybe some experience is there. Some Vipralamba. Krishna in the form of prasadam. Otherwise, what is our experience? Bolo,
Reminded of one brilliant class by Parampuja Loknath Swami Maharaj just last few days back. So he was narrating about Kama, actually. The verse was about Kama, and it took all of us to the Akrura, taking Krishna, Balram, and how gopis were watching that Rath, and the all that
till
he's told.
the dust.
Till the dust cloud and all that. So I was wondering why he's telling all that, karma is going on. And then he said, I want to speak something, but okay, I'll speak. And then he spoke about how they felt same for Srila Prabhupada. When actually Juhu, he would come, he stayed for 100 days. So they had that kind of experience. And then when Prabhupada was going, they would go to the airport, and then the plane will go and then go on top, and then they will see the plane going, and till the last point they will be there. They will offer obeisances. So actually I was feeling that is something tangible for us towards some pure Vaishnava, because that is his experience. Now for me, that also is very high, because I don't even see like that to anyone. But that is something tangible to a Vaishnava. We feel some love. Then when he goes away, like that. So he was making it tangible.
So just like Mukund Maharaj describes, no, in Leelamrita also it is there, about the devotees when Srila Prabhupada got the stroke in 1967, the initial devotees, and Srila Prabhupada was going to come back to India, and then Janki, she snatches the ticket. You read that past time, right? So even in those initial days, those devotees were feeling so much separation from Prabhupada. They could not bear that separation. So that is of course the pure devotee. As there is that pastime, I think so. This is Delhi Pandal program, when after the last lecture, then all the people, they rushed to take the dust from Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. And so, and of course the disciples, they pushed away all the people, they didn't allow. But then later on, one disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, why all people love you so much? And Srila Prabhupada gave a very simple answer, apparent simple answer. Because I love them. So the pure devotee, by that pure love, then he attracts anuraktata, one of the characteristics of. So because the pure devotee has love, then he induces love in the jivas also. So that Srila Prabhupada could do. And therefore, even in the early stages, they could feel that love. And then when there is love, then there is obviously separation, feelings of separation. So both go hand in hand. So in any case, in this verse, as Vishwanath Thakur says, this verse shows the outstanding quality of Ruda Bhava, which is a type of Mahabhava. The seventh state of Prema, Mahabhav, is defined as Kalpasya Kshanata Yoge Viyoge Tad Viparyaya. In meeting the Lord, a kalpa seems to be a moment. And in separation, a moment seems to be a kalpa. This from Ujjwal Nilamani's quote. The nights of the Rasa dance with me, which lasted for a night of Brahma, while I was situated in Vrindavan, or while I was tending the cows in Vrindavan, passed like half a moment. Nights of 4 praharas, 12 hours, became like many days of Brahma, because they could not tolerate that time in separation. So that is, as Srila Prabhupada describes in many of his lectures, that is the Mahavadanya nature of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's contribution. Why? Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is directly giving love of God, even though we have not even understood who is God. If you don't know who is a person, how can there be love? But this is what Mahaprabhu is giving. So even though we don't know who is God, but still, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one is getting entrance into love. That is the Mahavadanya nature of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, there is no theoretical understanding of all these things. Okay, let's go to the 12th verse. Tana vidanmai anusanga bhaddha dhiya swamatma namadastadedam yatha samadho munayogdito ye nadhya pravishta iva nama rupe.
My dear Uddhav, Just as great sages in yoga trance merge into self-realization, like rivers merging into the ocean, and are thus not aware of material names and forms, similarly, the gopis of Vrindavan were so completely attached to me within their minds that they could not think of their own bodies, or of this world, or of their future lives. Their entire consciousness was simply bound up in me.
So that's the position of the gopis. Yatha samadho munayah. So just like the munis in samadhi. Abdi toye nadhya pravishta iva. Which teaching? No, you only said, no, it is.
Before he went to Vrindavan, or after he came back from Vrindavan, then Krishna is speaking to him.
After coming back from Vrindavan?
He went to Vrindavan. So surely Dwarka.
After killing Dantavakra?
So this knowledge is given after he came back, no?
No, after.
After Uddhava came back.
Okay, he came back to Dwarka.
Yeah.
From Vrindavan.
Then
yeah, that is later only, no?
That's why he is explaining all the.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes. So, like rivers merging into the ocean, so completely absorbed. The words swam atmanam adastadedam indicate that while for ordinary persons one's personal body is the most near and dear thing, the gopis consider their own bodies to be distant and remote, just as a yogi in samadhi trance considers ordinary things around his physical body or his physical body itself to be most remote. When Krishna played on his flute late at night, the gopis immediately forgot everything about their so-called husbands and children, went to dance with Lord Krishna in the forest. These controversial points have been clearly explained in the book Krishna by His Divine Grace as Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The basic explanation is that Lord Krishna is the source of everything and the gopis are the Lord's own potency. Thus, there is no discrepancy or immorality in the Almighty Personality of God, its loving affairs, with His own manifest potency, the gopis, who happen to be the most beautiful young girls in the creation of God. So, there is that pastime of Srila Prabhupada, no? One man, he came to Srila Prabhupada and said, "Oh, why is Krishna dancing with others' wives?" So what Prabhupada said? Kadam kano? Mic number? Bolo na, what you were going to say? That one you say.
When she's telling Krishna is not dancing, your wife is also. It is Krishna's property only. So why you are dancing, enjoying with Krishna's?
Another's property. Yes. So Krishna is dancing with his own energy. So therefore, there is no immorality. There is no illusion on the part of the gopis, for they are so attracted to Lord Krishna that they do not care to think of anything else. Since all existence is situated within the body of Lord Krishna, there is no loss for the gopis when they concentrate on the Lord. It is the nature of very deep love to exclude all objects except the beloved. However, in the material world where we try to love a limited temporary object such as a nation, family or personal body, our exclusion of other objects constitutes ignorance. But when our love is intensely concentrated on the Supreme Personality of God, the origin of everything, such concentration cannot be considered ignorance or small-mindedness. Therefore, in the purport to that verse on prema, the definition of prema which Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives, what is that? Krishnendriya Priti Vancha? So in that purport, Srila Prabhupada quotes from, I suppose, one of the Upanishads. Maybe somebody can open that. So there he says that when there are sufficient reasons for a relationship to break, in spite of them when the relationship does not break, that is called love. What is the... Give him the mic. What's the reference?
Scriptures.
Oh, yes. Read.
The revealed scriptures describe pure love as follows. Sarvata dhvamsarahitam sati api dhvamsakarane yad bhava bandhanam yuno saprema parikirtitai. If there is ample reason for the dissolution of a conjugal relationship, and yet such a dissolution does not take place, such a relationship of intimate love is called pure.
Yes. Give the reference.
Adi 41165. Atmendriya Prit.
And the last sentence of the purport. And of course, he is also given the example of how the gopis could not even tolerate the blinking of their own eyelids for a split second. Srila Rupa Goswami said that all sincere devotees of the Lord should have the courage to remove from their lives anything that impedes their progressive march back home, back to Godhead. Anything that's pratikul, that should be given up. Okay, so Bhishma Chakravarti again quotes Ujjwal Neelamani, explains that when one experiences intense emotions, one forgets everything even though one is not in a state of illusion. That is shown in this verse. Their minds were bound to constant association with me. By his amazing pastimes, Krishna stunned all the three worlds. By his constant association, he bound up the gopis with great strength. The functions of their intelligence became like desire cows for fulfilling Krishna's desires, bound up by constant association. They do not know their own bodies. In going to the Rasa dance, they did not know where they were, where they had come. They were not aware of this world or then next, though they had transgressed dharma. They were like sages in samadhi. In that state, experiencing Brahman, the sages remember nothing. However, the gopis experienced me, not the Brahman. Thus, the example is useful to show forgetfulness, but is not meant to show the attainment. There's a great difference between the gopis attaining prema and the sages attaining nirvana, since the feelings of possessiveness are different. Okay. And then he's quoting from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, comparing Brahmananda with the happiness of bhakti. And then he says, Brahman is attached to the devotees and under their control, but Brahman is not attached to the sages and not under their control. Just as rivers enter the ocean and do not know their name and form, the gopis in relishing rasa did not know their names and forms. The comparison does not illustrate absolute non-difference of gopis from Brahman. So he's explained the analogy of the rivers entering into the ocean. So when the rivers enter into the ocean, then it does not matter which river, what name. So then they just enter into the ocean. So similarly, the gopis totally forgot about themselves and they were simply interested in Krishna and pleasing Krishna. So that is the difference between Krishna and simply the impersonal Brahman. So he's saying that the impersonal Brahman does not reciprocate with the impersonalists. But then as far as Krishna is concerned, then there is so much of reciprocation. Okay, 13. Mat kama ramanam jaram aswarupa vido balaha brahmamam paramam prapu sangachata sahasrashaha.
All those hundreds and thousands of gopis, understanding me to be their most charming lover and ardently desiring me in that way, were unaware of my actual position. Yet, by intimately associating with me, the gopis attained me, the supreme absolute truth.
Yes. So they were aswarupa vidha, not knowing my actual position. So that is being highlighted here in this purport. The words aswarupa vidha, not understanding my actual position or form. Somebody can read the purport.
Complete. The word aswarupa vidhi, not understanding my actual position or form. indicate that the lovely gopis were so completely absorbed in conjugal love for Lord Krishna that they were not aware of the Lord's unlimited potency as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained this and other meaning of the word Aswarupa Vidhi. In Sanskrit, the word Vidhi also means to acquire. Thus, Aswarupa Vidhi indicate that the gopis, like other pure devotees of the Lord, were not interested in achieving Sarupya Mukti, the liberation of acquiring bodily form similar to Lord. Were the gopis to obtain a bodily form like Lord's, how could the Lord execute his conjugal pastime of dancing with gopis and embracing them? Since the gopis has realized their eternal spiritual form as servitor of the Lord, the word Swarupa also may indicate their own spiritual bodies, and thus the Aswarupa Vidhi means that the gopis never thought as a materialistic do of their own bodily beauty. Although the gopis are the most beautiful girls in the Lord creation, they never thought of their own bodies, but rather we were always meditating on the transcendental body of the Lord Krishna. Although we cannot imitate the gopis' exalted conjugal feelings, we can follow their superb example of practical Krishna consciousness. They naturally took shelter of Lord Krishna and achieved the highest perfection of life, perfection of life.
So the same thing, they have taken most of it from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. So that Aswarupa Vidaha. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, they attained me not as a husband but as a lover, Jaram. They did not know my Swarupa of power since they experienced only my great sweetness. Or the meaning of Aswarupa Vida can be, they did not attain Sarupya, form similar to mine like other devotees, as it said in the purport. So if they also attain forms like Krishna, then where is the question of rasa dance then? So they cannot, obviously they don't have desire to achieve that same form. If they had attained forms similar to Krishna, Krishna could not perform rasa dance with them. Another meaning of Aswarupa Vida is they did not know the beauty of their own forms, but experience the beauty of my form. Or another meaning is gopis whose swarupas no one knew. They thought that gopis' form was ordinary, but the gopis' forms were also totally spiritual. So these are the verses about the gopis' love for Krishna. They're totally unmotivated, kevala bhakti, pure prema. As we know, prema, two types of prema. What are they? Mahatmya Jnana Prema. Mahatmya Jnana Prema and Kevala Prema. So the example for Mahatmya Jnana Prema is? Queens of Dwarka. Vasudev Devaki of... Yes, so basically for Kevala Prema, the example is of the gopis. Yes, otherwise all the others have the other type of prema. Gopas... Vishramba Sakya. The Sakya also two types are there, no? There are two types, no? Right. Okay. So, as far as we are concerned, as sadhakas, so how can we increase our prema? What can we do? Can you quote one section of the Bhagavatam where this is wonderfully described? How to increase our prema?
May I?
1 second. Kamalkant,
one analogy Prabhupada gives.
What's that?
That initially the wife and husband, they are married, and the wife starts serving, like some arranged marriages. Then slowly the love will increase. towards the husband.
Okay, so that example is given for dhairya, patience. In the Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada gives that example. For getting the child, there has to be some dhairya. Okay, somebody else?
Prabhuji, may I?
Go ahead.
Prabhuji, in Bhagavatam, Srinvata Swakatha Krishna, from 17 shloka till the 22 shloka, where Krishna is cleansing the heart of those who are hearing his glories. And
Okay, we can take that section also, right? So from first canto, second chapter, 16th verse to 21st verse. The series of verses are talking about how one can proceed from Adau Shraddha to Prema. Yes, that's also one section. But there's one more section also, where specifically this... what's that? 1:3:44. What is that? Give him the mic. 1:3:44 is that hearing with rapt attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
One has to learn Bhagavatam. This is in between purport, Prabhuji.
Yes.
One has to learn Bhagavatam from the representative Sukadeva Goswami and no one else. If one at all wants to see Lord Krishna in the pages, and there is no alternative. Sutta Goswami is bona fide representative of Sukadeva Goswami because he wants to present the message which he received from the great learned Brahmana. Sukadeva Goswami presented Bhagavatam as he heard it from his great father. And so also Sutta Goswami is presenting Bhagavatam as he had heard it from Sukadeva Goswami. Simple hearing is not all. One must realize the text with proper attention. The word nivishta means that Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. That is the real process of receiving Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and then he can at once realize the presence of Lord Krishna in every page. The secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind, and no one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, fearing, and waiting. But somehow or the other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person, at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Shri Krishna in the person in the pages of Bhagavatam.
Yes, this is also a good reference.
Section.
That's a good verse. Talking about...
Kapil Muni section. 29.
Okay, we can take that also.
But we are looking for Devoti serving Kardamuni.
Okay, there also there are some good lessons. Yes. Why only hint will tell you now? If I tell you one hint, you'll immediately come to know. Okay, still we'll say 4th canto.
Dhruv Maharaj?
What Dhruv Maharaj?
Prabhuji, in case of Dhruv Maharaj, he was insulted by his mother. So Dhruv believed that by worshipping Lord Vishnu, he could attain the highest goal. So this is Shraddha. And then Srila Narad Muni came and he gave him, so Dhruv Maharaj accepted, spiritual guidance, that was Sadhu Sangha.
That pastime we know, but...
Bhakti mahu pravatam tuim prasango bhuyadanta. That verse where he said that I want to hear from your devotees and I'm getting mad to hear about it. So that is about increasing prema.
Okay, fine. Okay, one more guess. Yes.
Maybe Vachini Parishad is given instruction by Narad Muni that, Tasmin Mahan Mukharita Madhuvi Charitra. You will forget all your bodily necessities when you go and hear from those who are discussing Harikatha with goosebumps and all.
Okay, fine. Something is there. Okay, so one important section of the fourth canto is, in fact, this is quite a big section of the fourth canto, is talking about Prithu Maharaj. So, this is teachings of Sanat Kumar to Prithu Maharaj. So, of course, Prithu Maharaj is asking, so this is in the 22nd chapter of the fourth canto. So, Prithu Maharaj asks quite a general question. This is in the 15th verse. In the 15th verse, he says, I'm completely assured that personalities like you are the only friends for persons who are blazing in the fire of material existence. I therefore ask you how in... I therefore ask you how in this material world we can very soon achieve the ultimate goal of life. Tadaham krita vishrambha surudo vas tapasvinam sampriche bhava etasmin kshema kena anjasa bhavet. So anjasa, without delay, how can one achieve the kshema, the ultimate goal, the ultimate reality? How can one achieve? So the ultimate goal is what? Prema. So then Sanat Kumar begins to reply in the 18th verse. First of all, he is appreciating the question. And then in the 19th verse, 19th verse also is sort of appreciating. And then from the 20th verse, he says, Astevarajan bhavato madudvisha Padaravendasya gunanuvadane Rati durapa vidunoti neshtiki Kamam kashayam malamantaratmanaha. So, Sanat Kumar continue. My dear king, you already have an inclination to glorify the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such attachment is very difficult to achieve. Rati, the word in the verse is Rati, attachment. Rati durapa, very difficult to achieve. Such attachment is very difficult to achieve. But when one has attained such unflinching faith in the Lord, it automatically cleanses lusty desires from the core of the heart. So then, if one achieves it, then the result will be vidnoti, kamam, kashayam, malam, anta atmanaha, from the core of the heart. So that is what he's speaking about, how to achieve that rati, how to achieve that strong attachment. And so in the next verse he says, it has been conclusively decided in the scriptures of due consideration that the ultimate goal for the welfare of human society is detachment from the bodily concept of life and increased and steadfast attachment with the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental beyond the modes of material nature. Again, the same word comes, Drida Rati Brahmani Nirgune. So how to achieve that strong Rati, the strong attachment to the Supreme Lord. And so now what he describes is something very practical for sadhakas. The process for sadhakas is what he is describing, beginning from the 22nd verse. So Shraddhaya Bhagavad Dharmacharyaya Jigyasaya Dhyatmika Yoga Nishtaya Yogeshwaropasanaya cha Nityam Punya Shrava Kataya Punyaya cha. Read the translation.
Attachment for the Supreme can be increased by practicing devotional service, inquiring about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, applying Bhakti Yoga in life, worshipping the Yogeshwar, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by hearing and chanting about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These actions are pious in themselves.
Yes. So anyway, Prabhupada is giving a very beautiful purport to the whole thing. But it's very interesting. Even though the verse says Yogeshwara Upasana, in the purport Prabhupada says, in this verse Yogeshwara Upasana means to render service to a pure devotee. And then again, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva, Nistar Paichageva, then again he's quoting Prahlad Maharaj, Mahiyasam Padarajo Bhishekam. So that whole Yogeshwara Upasanaya, Prabhupada puts it as the service to the pure devotee. One should take shelter of pure devotee who has nothing to do with this material world, but is simply engaged in devotional service. By serving him only, one can transcend the quality of the material condition. In this verse, it is recommended Yogeshwara Upasanaya, that one serve the lotus feet of the topmost yogi or the devotee. To serve the topmost devotee means to hear from him about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To hear the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the mouth of a pure devotee is to acquire a pious life. And then he's quoting Yesham Tvantakadam Papa. And then he's quoting from Rupa Goswami, Adau Guru Ashrayam Saddharma Pricha Sadhu Marganukam Gamanam. The conclusion is that to increase attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to accept a bona fide spiritual master and learn from him the methods of devotional service and hear from him about the transcendental message and glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this way, one has to increase his conviction about devotional service. Then it will be very easy to increase attachment for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then in the next verse, he's giving again some more very practical points. Artendriya Rama Sagoshte Atrishnaya Tatsammatanam Aparikrahena Cha Viviktarucha Paritosha Atmani Vina Harer Gunapiyusha Panat. Read.
One has to make progress in spiritual life by not associating with persons who are simply interested in sense gratification and making money. Not only such persons, but one who associates with such persons should be avoided. One should mold his life in such a way that he cannot live in peace without drinking the nectar of the glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. One can be thus elevated by being disgusted with the taste for sense enjoyment.
Okay, so again. So this is about association. So Prabhupada writes, simple negation or giving up the company of materialistic persons will not do. We must have engagements. Sometimes it's found that person interested in spiritual advancement gives up the company of material society and goes to a secluded place, as recommended for the yogis especially, but that also will not help a person in spiritual advancement. For many instances, such yogis also fall down. The jnanis also fall down. So therefore, the beginning of devotional service is to hear about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is recommended in this verse. Vina harer guna piyusha panat. One must drink the nectar of the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this means that one must be always engaged in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. It is the prime method for advancing in spiritual life. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommends this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. If one wants to make advancement in spiritual life, by great fortune he may meet a bona fide spiritual master and from him learn about Krishna. By serving both the spiritual master and Krishna, he gets the seed of devotional service, Bhakti Lata Bij, and if he sows the seed within his heart and waters it by hearing and chanting, it grows into luxuriant Bhakti Lata or Bhakti Creeper. The purport is that one cannot live outside the society of devotees. One must live in the association of devotees, where there is constant chanting and hearing of the glories of the Lord. The Krishna Consciousness movement is started for this purpose. See, Prabhupada is specifically writing, the Krishna Consciousness movement is started for this purpose, so that hundreds of ISKCON centers may give people a chance to hear and chant, to accept the spiritual master, and to disassociate themselves from persons who are materially interested. So three things Prabhupada is saying. The purpose of the Krishna Consciousness movement is what? Give people a chance to hear and chant, accept a bona fide spiritual master, and dissociate from persons who are materially interested. And for in this way, one can make solid advancement in going back home, back to Godhead. And then some more points in the next verse. Ahimsaya paramahamsya charyaya smritya mukunda charitagriya sidhuna yamera kame niyameschapyanindaya nirihaya dvandvatitikshaya cha.
A candidate for spiritual advancement must be non-violent, must follow in the footsteps of great acharyas, and must always remember the nectar of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, must follow the regulative principles without material desire, and while following the regulative principles, should not blaspheme others. A devotee should lead a very simple life and not be disturbed by the duality of opposing elements. He should learn to tolerate them.
Yes, so all these points have to be taken into consideration. So here, talking about this smritya. Prabhupada says, smritya means remembering Krishna always. Life should be molded in such a way that one cannot remain alone without thinking of Krishna. We should live in Krishna, so that while eating, sleeping, walking and working, we remain only in Krishna, even sleeping. So, of course, Srila Prabhupada explains, if throughout the day we are Krishna conscious, then at night also we'll think of Krishna. And Prabhupada gives an example. You know what's the example he gives? Or his own experience actually. He says he had a friend who had a cloth business. So throughout the day he was quoting prices of cloth. So sometimes at night, even while sleeping, he would be quoting prices of cloth. So he says, similarly, if throughout the day one is thinking of Krishna, then at night also it will be possible. And then he's given another practical example here. Our Krishna Conscious Society recommends that we arrange our living so that we can remember Krishna. In ISKCON Society, the devotees, while engaged in making spiritual sky incense, are also hearing about the glories of Krishna as devotees. Smartavya satatam Vishnu, vismartavya najatuchit. Incense. So that time, and during Prabhupada's time only that was going on. For some days it was going on. And then he says, Mukunda Charitagriya Sidhuna. Sidhu means nectar. To hear about Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, or similar authentic literature is to live in Krishna consciousness. Such concentration in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by persons who are strictly following the rules and regulative principles. So that, see, the concentration in Krishna consciousness can be achieved by following the rules and regulations. It's not going to happen automatically. We have recommended in our Krishna consciousness movement that devotee chant 16 rounds on beads. You can see Prabhupada writes this. Even though that time there was no other ways to chant, but most probably Prabhupada knew in the future it would happen, most probably. So therefore, in so many purports, Prabhupada specifically writes on beads. We have to emphasize this when we tell other devotees also. So all those, unless it's a real emergency, otherwise on beads daily and follow the regulative principles. That will help the devotee be fixed in his spiritual advancement in life. And then controlling the senses. And then anindaya. This interesting way Prabhupada explains anindaya. Here he says, anindaya means we should not criticize others' methods of religion. Because according to the modes of material nature, there are different religious systems. So he says, when people are mostly under the modes of passion and ignorance, the system of religion will be of the same quality. A devotee, instead of criticizing such systems, will encourage the followers to stick to their principles so that gradually they can come to the platform of religion and goodness. Simply by criticizing them, a devotee's mind will be agitated. Thus, a devotee should tolerate and learn to stop agitation. And that's exactly what Srila Prabhupada did. Regarding Christians and Muslims, Srila Prabhupada would often say that, okay, you say you're Christian, be a proper Christian. Or be a proper Muslim. That was Srila Prabhupada's constant stand. And so, there is one very interesting interview. I think so this was the first interview Srila Prabhupada gave in London, I suppose. Anyway, I don't remember exactly that, where this interview took place. But there was this interview which Srila Prabhupada was called for, TV show. And and Prabhupada and Mukund Maharaj had gone. And they didn't know, but there was also a Christian father and his disciple or whatever. So they were also present for the show. They didn't know that they would also be present. But the organizers wanted to create a sort of sensation with some controversial arguments and this and that. So they also called that Christian. And so when the interview began, so first they started interviewing that Christian. And so, or anyway, I don't remember who first, but whatever. So when the Christian was asked, so what do you think about this Hare Krishna movement? So by chanting this Hare Krishna and this process, will somebody achieve perfection? And the Christian very emphatically said, no. It is not possible. Unless one takes to the process of Jesus, it is not possible. The Christian very emphatically said. And when a similar question was asked to Srila Prabhupada said, no problem. If somebody wants to be a Christian, they can be a Christian, but be a proper Christian, follow all the principles of Jesus Christ. Or similarly, one wants to be a Muslim, be a proper Muslim. That was Prabhupada's stand, and all the people and everyone appreciated that how Srila Prabhupada was not fanatic. He was not fanatic. So he was saying, okay, you can achieve perfection, but follow your own process properly. That was Srila Prabhupada's stand. Of course, so that was Srila Prabhupada's stand when it came to his opinion about other religions and all that. But of course, when it came to devotees, then there was no compromise. So that's a very balanced way in which Srila Prabhupada preached actually. And many people appreciated that. And so Srila Prabhupada would openly say, we have not come here to convert anyone to become Hindus. No, this is science, Srila Prabhupada would say. And then Nirihaya, simple living. Nirihaya means gentle, meek, simple. Okay, a devotee should not live very gorgeously, imitate a materialistic person. Plain living, high thinking, recommended for a devotee. He should not eat or sleep more than is required. Prabhupada writes here, simply eating for living and not living for eating. You got that? Niche, thoda niche. There, see. Simply eating for... uske niche. Are principles to be followed by devotees. As long as the body is there, it is subjected to the influence of climatic changes, disease and natural disturbances, the threefold miseries of material existence. We cannot avoid them. Sometimes we receive letters from neophyte devotees questioning why they have fallen sick, although pursuing Krishna consciousness. They should learn from this verse that they have to become tolerant. Dvandva titikshaya. This is the world of duality. One should not think that because he has fallen sick, he has fallen from Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness can continue without impediment from any material opposition. We were discussing this point yesterday. So Lord Krishna therefore advises in Bhagavad Gita, Tam stitikshasva bharata. Okay. And so the next verse, I think we'll just finish with this next verse. So very nice next verse. Harer muhustat parakarna pura guna vidanena vijrambamanaya bhaktya hi asanga sadasatyanatmani syan nirgune brahmani chanjasarati. So everywhere rati is coming. How to increase rati? Read.
The devotee should gradually increase the culture of devotional service by constant hearing of the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These pastimes are like ornamental decorations on the ears of devotees. By rendering devotional service and transcending the material qualities, one can easily be fixed in transcendence in the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes, Karnapura, decoration of the ear. So in this way one can gradually increase one's Krishna consciousness. Anjasa, easily. Rati. And Prabhupada is quoting here, Nishkinjanasya bhagavad bhajanan mukasya param param jigamishor bhavasagarasya. Okay. And then from the next verse he begins to describe what are the symptoms of one who has achieved that rati. So these are the verses which are talking about how to increase that rati, that attachment to the Supreme Lord. Yes, till the previous verse, that is 25, 4:22, 20. Yes, so these verses are describing how to increase rati. Very practical. Yes, bro?
Prabhuji, one small question. This Prabhupada writes on beads chanting. But some devotees, of course I chant on beads only, but normally some devotees may ask, nowadays mobile counting is there, some apps or this, they say chanting is important.
No, then why spiritual master has given beads? For keeping in the locker? Huh? Then the spiritual master should not give beads also, no? Why is giving beads then?
Can you give some importance?
No,
of
first
beads?
you have to answer this question. Why spiritual master is giving beads? In the first place.
For counting.
Prabhu, in those days there was no electronic counter.
No. See, this is the process that has been followed by whom?
Chaitanya
Mahaprabhu himself counted on his fingers. But all the Goswamis, Haridas Thakur, you go to their samadhis, you find their beads, na? Then the Goswamis themselves chanted. So then what are we supposed to do? Huh? So now you may say, oh, now we have all these modern things, therefore we... No. That is the process which has been recommended. And at least personally, I have not used any other means of chanting, but I think definitely some difference will be there, right?
I don't know.
If you chant on beads and if you use some other ways of chanting.
Touching the tulsi beads is different than touching an electronic instrument.
First of all, tulsi mala. And who has given it? Chanted by the Guru. The Guru has chanted on those beads. Is there no value to that? It is like getting prasadam. That is prasadam, right, of the spiritual master. Otherwise, why that spiritual master has to break his head spending so much time chanting on all? So many beads. The spiritual masters, we have seen, no, spiritual masters, the secretary, he gives the beads one by one and they keep chanting on those beads. Why they have to take so much trouble then? If the disciple says, I don't have to chant on the beads, then why they're taking so much trouble? They don't have value for that?
Prabhuji, one more question regarding this only. Some devotees, not me, but some devotees.
Some devotees only.
They have two bead bags. One is spiritual master has given, they chant 16 rounds, and one more they take and they chant for extra rounds. They carry everywhere, here and there. So how much this is?
Okay, one can say okay, but ideally the beads on which the spiritual master has chanted has that special potency. We should understand that. We should understand that. The spiritual master is chanting and giving. See, now at least the spiritual master chants at some other time and gives. During Prabhupada's time, you know how it was. In fact, there are videos, you can see that. During the initiation ceremony, Prabhupada would chant. Yes.
Before every devotee.
Yes. Prabhupada would chant there, or all the devotees also would chant along with Prabhupada, and then he would give.
10 devotees, 10 rounds.
Yes. It was like that. At least in the initial days. Of course, later on, Prabhupada was giving by mail and many other things Prabhupada was doing. But in the initial days when Prabhupada was giving, it was like that. So it carries so much of weight. The spiritual master is personally chanting on those beads and giving. It is like Mahaprasad. And it has so much of potency. So, once on a yatra, devotees were, when they went to Radhakund, devotees were dipping their beads in Radhakund to purify that. So, when His Grace Jananas Prabhu saw that, he said, what nonsense is this? The beads have already been chanted by the spiritual master. What? You need to purify them more? You're gone crazy or what? So this is all so much of mental concoction and material conception. That's all.
One more question. This Niranjan Swami Maharaj, you told Brahman Diksha also he took.
Hey, wait. The beads thing is over.
You told no.
No, I'm telling on the basis of Shastra, that's all.
Yes.
So we should clearly tell devotees, whomever we are preaching to or following or whatever, we should clearly tell them, right from day one they should be chanting on beads. This should be the standard. In fact, those other things, that's like the last choice. Real emergency, somebody is very sick, this, that. That is the last choice. Otherwise, see, even while lying down, one can still hold the beads, na? One can still hold the beads. Now, I don't talk about myself, but I have personally done that when I was very sick. So, it is possible to hold the beads, no? So, that is possible. So, that should be really the last option. One should understand what is those beads. You know, this Mahaprasad, the spiritual master, is chanting and giving. Why is he taking so much trouble? So, as preachers, we should tell all devotees. Otherwise, see, if we are not very firm on these things, who is going to tell the next generation of devotees? If we ourselves are dila-dala, oh, okay, do whatever you want. If we speak like that, then after some time, beads will be only for show then, at the time of initiation. We don't want to create some new culture here. So that is the problem, no? So how can one chant while driving and doing all this? No, that is what. So what type of chanting is that? What type of chanting? Exactly. It is not chanting. You know, that extra rounds is okay.
Not 16.
Yes, but 16 rounds one can't do like that. What type of chanting is that? No, yes, they are doing. That is the whole problem. And because they are doing like that, there is no purification. Therefore, there are so many problems. Therefore, there are so many problems.
Small deviation. Small.
It is not small actually, it's very big. It is not small. Why should we say small? It is very big deviation. And we should never allow it. Because, as rightly said, because then one thinks one can chant anywhere, sab chalta hai. And then, no quality of chanting, no purification, then only problems. All anarthas come up, and so many problems in the society. Because of this only. So many problems. In another class we were discussing it recently. When, we'll take break on this point. So, when Prabhupada is, in one purport, Prabhupada is writing about, in the 5th canto it comes, Matra Swasra Duitrava. Prabhupada is quoting that verse, and then Prabhupada, as an explanation to that verse, Prabhupada says, everyone, grihasthas, brahmacharis, vanaprasthas, sannyasis, everyone should be careful in associating with women. Somebody may say, even grihasthas. But, sorry to say, but nowadays we are hearing that among initiated devotees, illicit connections. Yes, second initiated devotees, illicit connections. Therefore, Prabhupada has written that time only. Even grihasthas Prabhupada has written. Should be careful.
As a grihastha, personal experience.
So, please, one second. So, therefore, why all these problems? Because they're not chanting properly. How the purification will take place? So, therefore, there should not be any compromise on these things. So, like you're one of the main leaders there in Kunjbihari temple. So, therefore, you should heavily emphasize these things. Nothing doing, only on beads. See, if we emphasize, then people will take it like that. If we don't emphasize, then people also will not take it seriously. And then down the line, more degradation. All right, no?
Prabhuji, you told Niranjan Swami Maharaj he took second initiation also without seeing Prabhupada. Normally, second initiation, Guru chants in ear.
So Prabhupada would chant and then send the thread, and then some disciple would do that.
On behalf of Prabhupada, they will give in ear.
Some senior
mantra.
devotee. Yeah. So why? What is more auspicious? No, there is surely no reference to
We
it.
are taking bath in Yamuna. Why we should take bath in Yamuna?
Okay, now you're getting into something else.
I am not saying that we have to purify the beads. Generally, when you enter the Yamuna, they put beads on your neck and then you take bath. It is not that we have to purify the beads. Purify, how I have to purify?
That is the point.
Then suppose why I should not take one bath also now. Guru has given Diksha, he has purified me. Then why should I go to take bath?
Now you cannot link these two. You cannot link these two. See, therefore we should not get into the zone of mental speculation. If we don't understand things, then just follow what the Acharya has said. Otherwise, if we try to apply logic, then it all lands up into mental speculation. So therefore, did Prabhupada tell to sanctify the beads in the Ganges or Yamuna? No. Fine, forget it. Did Prabhupada tell to take bath daily? No, not only just daily. How many times daily? 3 times. Yes, Prabhupada says 3 times or at least 2 times. So, if we don't understand the logic and all that, just follow the Acharya. Okay, if we try to apply logic, then we'll all land up into mental speculation. So, if we don't understand these things, just follow what the Acharya has said and it's all perfect. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. So 15-minute break. We'll come back. 1 o'clock.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, now enough of discussions. We'll go now, just finish the remaining part of the chapter. That's okay, 14th and 15th verses. Tasmat tvam udhavotsrujya chodanam pratichodanam pravrittim cha nivrittim cha shrotavyam shrutameva cha mamekam eva sharanam atmanam sarvadehinam sarvatma bhavena maya syahi akuto bhayah. Therefore, my dear, abandon the Vedic mantras as well as the procedures of supplementary Vedic literatures and their positive and negative injunctions. Disregard that which has been heard and that which is to be heard. Simply take shelter of me alone, for I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, situated within the heart of all conditioned souls. Take shelter of me wholeheartedly, and by my grace be free from fear in all circumstances. Okay. Anyway, seeing Sri Guru Prabhu reminded me that our Praveen Prabhu has sent a message. You got the message, no? You got, no? He sent to me, so I was wondering whether he sent to you. Because he's serving Maharaj, I think, right? So he's attending online. Chandramauli Maharaj went there, no, for morning class. Okay. So So till now, the Lord has spoken about the devotees, the association of devotees, the importance of the association, and then finally he glorified the gopis and the Brajavasis as the topmost devotees. So now after all this has been spoken, now here Lord is telling Uddhav something quite conclusive. So little down the purport. According to Srila Vishnu Thakur, Lord Krishna previously kept the gopis' love for him concealed in his heart because of its confidential nature and the Lord's own gravity. Finally, however, even Lord Krishna could not remain silent about the intense love of the gopis, and thus in these verses the Lord reveals to Uddhav how the gopis loved him in Vrindavan and brought him fully under their control. The Lord would relax in secret places with the loving gopis, and by conjugal spontaneous affection the greatest love was exchanged between them. Okay. 14-15. In the next paragraph, actually Lord Krishna is hinting that Uddhav should assimilate the example of the gopis and try to advance further in Krishna consciousness by following in the footsteps of the cowherd damsels of Vraja. Okay, so that is what the Lord wanted to tell Uddhav. Then further down, any conditioned soul who is unsatisfied with the cruel laws of nature which impose disease, old age and death should understand that Lord Krishna can deliver all living beings from the problems of material existence. There is no need to entangle oneself in unauthorized sectarian rituals, injunctions or prohibitions. One should simply surrender to Lord Krishna. Okay, now Vishnu Thakur says, in reply to Uddhav's question about the qualities of the devotee, Krishna described three types of devotees. By the respective association one attains mixed or pure bhakti. So what are three types of devotees? Basically, Karma Mishra, Jnana Mishra and Kevala Bhakta. So by the respective association one attains mixed or pure bhakti. So whomever one associates with, one will get that type of bhakti. In order to show that he is controlled by bhakti, he stated that he is controlled by association of devotees. Okay, so then again he's talking about the gopis and all that. And means in the previous verses. It's not exactly mentioned like that. No, like that. But some hints are there. But of course, before that list of qualities, before that he was speaking about the processes. Because, we started with Varnashram, if you remember. So all that he's taking into consideration. So here also he says, to inspire Uddhav with that high level of pure bhakti of the gopis, Krishna speaks this verse. Give up rules and prohibitions, give up prescribed acts and forbidden acts. Should I take sannyas? No. Give up the dharma of sannyas, renunciation, as well as the dharma of the householder's enjoyment. Do not hanker to hear about dharma in the future and forget what you have heard already. By all methods, by all bhavas in the mind, such as dasya and sakya, taking support of me, surrender. You will be fearless by my mercy. You are not qualified for karma or jnana, but if you identify with those processes and thus fear sin and continued samsara because of neglect of duties and jnana, I am here to deliver you from these two fears. Okay. So after this, now Uddhav is saying, Shri Uddhava Vacha Samshaya Shrinvato Vacham Tava Yogeshwareshwara Na Nivartata Atmasto Yena Bhramyati Me Mana. Shri Uddhav said, O Lord of all masters of mystic power, I have heard your words, but the doubt in my heart does not go away. Thus my mind is bewildered. So why there is doubt? So here, as you can see in the purport, there is mention of how Krishna has described various processes. Here you will find definite references they are giving in the purport. In the first verse of the 10th chapter of this canto, that's where we started, right? First verse of the 10th chapter. The Lord stated that one should take shelter of Him and execute one's duties within Varnashram system without material desire. Uddhava interpreted this statement as recommending Karma Mishra Bhakti, or devotional service mixed with tendency to fruitive activities. Okay, and then in verse 4 of the 10th chapter, the Lord recommended that one retire from worldly duties and systematically cultivate knowledge, accept Him as supreme. So Uddhava understood this instruction to indicate Jnana Mishra Bhakti. And beginning with verse 35 of the 10th chapter, Uddhava inquired about the process of material conditioning and liberation from material life. The Lord replied elaborately, stating that without devotional service, the process of philosophical speculation can never be perfected. Then in chapter 11, verse 18, the Lord emphasized the importance of faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's that verse starting with Shraddhalu. And in verse 23, Krishna extensively widened his discussion of devotional service, emphasizing that one should be faithful and hear and chant the glories of the Lord. The Lord concluded that both the development and perfection of devotional service depend on association with the devotees. So in verse 26 of the 11th chapter, Uddhava inquired about the actual ways and means of devotional service and about the symptoms of devotional perfection. And in verse 48, Lord Krishna stated that unless one takes to the process of devotional service, one's attempt for liberation will be useless. One must associate with the devotees of the Lord and follow in their footsteps. Finally, in verse 14 of this chapter, the Lord categorically rejected the paths of fruitive activities and mental speculation. And in verse 15, recommended that one exclusively surrender unto Him with all one's heart. So, having received such elaborate and technical instructions on the perfection of life, Uddhava is bewildered. And his mind is afflicted with doubt about what he should actually do. Lord Krishna has described many procedures and the results of such procedures, all of which ultimately lead to the single goal of Lord Krishna Himself. Uddhava therefore desires that Lord Krishna state in simple terms what should be done. Arjuna makes a similar request of the Lord at the beginning of the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so there also, because in the 2nd chapter of the Gita also Krishna speaks many things. Okay, there also he speaks about difference between body and soul. He speaks about performing prescribed duties. He speaks about Buddhi Yoga. He speaks about Karma Kanda. Speaks about Karma Yoga. So many things Krishna spoke. So therefore at the beginning of the 3rd chapter, there also Arjuna is confused. According to Srila Vishwanath Thakur, Uddhava is stating here, my dear friend Krishna, first you recommended that I perform worldly activities within Varnashram system, and then you advise that I reject such activities and take to path of philosophical research. Now rejecting the path of Gyan, you recommend that I simply surrender to you in Bhakti Yoga. If I accept your decision, in the future you may again go back to your original point and recommend worldly activities. By his boldness in disclosing his mind, Uddhava reveals his intimate friendship with Lord Krishna. So, that is why he appears to be confused, and that is why he is asking this question. Okay, so now the Lord is replying, 17th verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Saesha Jivo Vivara Prasuti Prane Nagoshe Naguham Pravishtaha Manomayam Sukshmamupetya Rupam Matra Svarovannaiti Sthavishtha. Okay, please read.
Of Godhead said, my dear Uddhava, the Supreme Lord gives life to every living being and is situated within the heart along with the life air and the primal sound vibration. The Lord can be perceived in His subtle form within the heart by one's mind, since the Lord controls the minds of everyone, even great demigods like Lord Shiva. The Supreme Lord also assumes a gross form as the various sounds of Vedas, composed of short and long vowels and consonants of different intonations.
Okay, so now the Lord is replying that ultimately pranena ghoshena guham pravishta manamayam. So he's saying the Lord is controlling everything. And then he also takes the form of the rupam matra swara varna iti stavistha. Okay, in the purport, a little further down. Lord Krishna therefore wants to inform his devotee. My dear Uddhav, when I told you that analytic knowledge is to be practiced, pious duties are to be performed, devotional service is obligatory, yoga procedures must be observed, austerities are to be executed, etc., I was instructing all living entities using you as my immediate audience. That which I have spoken, am speaking now, and will speak in the future, should be understood as guidance for all living entities in different situations. How could you possibly think that you were meant to practice all of the different Vedic processes? I accept you as you are now, my pure devotee. You are not supposed to execute all these processes. Thus, according to Srila Vishwanath Thakur, the Lord with light-hearted and encouraging words reveals to Uddhav the deep purpose behind the variety of Vedic procedures. Okay, somebody read the rest of the purport. We'll read. Okay, wait. Let's online. Nobody has read so far. Let's give them a chance. Let's try.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Is it clear? Read. Begin.
Lord Krishna became manifest from the mouth of Lord Brahma in the form of the Vedas. The word Vivara Prasuti in this verse also indicates that the Lord is manifest within the Adharadi chakras situated within the body of Lord Brahma. The word Ghoshena means subtle sound, and Guham Pravishtaha also indicates that Lord Krishna enters within the Adhara chakra. The Lord can further be perceived within other chakras such as the Manipuraka chakra located around the navel and the Vishuddhi chakra. The Sanskrit alphabet is composed of short and long vowels and consonants pronounced with high and low tones, and utilizing these vibrations, the different branches of Vedic literatures are manifested as a gross form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to Bhagavad Gita, such literatures deal mostly with the three modes of material nature: Traigunya, Vishaya, Veda, Nistraigunyo, Bhavarjuna. Srila Sridhar Swami explains that due to the control of the illusory energy Maya, the personality of Godhead appears to the conditioned souls as part of the material universe. The imagined imposition of gross and subtle material qualities on the supreme and the personality of Godhead is called avidya, or ignorance, and through such ignorance the living entity considers himself to be the doer of his own activities and becomes bound up in the network of karma. The Vedas therefore order and entangle the soul to observe positive and negative injunctions to purify his existence. These procedures are called pravritti marga, or the path of regulated fruitive activities. When one has purified one's existence, one gives up this gross stage of fruitive activities because it is detrimental to the practice of pure devotional service. By firm faith, one may then worship the personality of Godhead. One who has developed perfect Krishna consciousness no longer has to perform ritualistic duties. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Tasya Karyam na vidyate. According to the Srila Jiva Goswami, this verse may be understood in another way. The word Jiva indicates Lord Krishna, who gives life to the residents of Vrindavana, and Vivara Pasuti indicates that although Lord Krishna eternally performs his pastimes in the spiritual world beyond the vision of the conditioned souls, he also enters within the material universe to display these same pastimes. The words Guham Pravishtaha indicates that after displaying such pastimes, the Lord withdraws them and enters into his unmanifest pastimes, or those pastimes not manifest to the conditioned souls. In this case, Matra indicates the transcendental senses of the Lord, Swara indicates the Lord's transcendental sound, vibration and singing, and the word Varna indicates the transcendental form of the Lord. The word Sthavishtaha, or gross manifestation, means that the Lord becomes manifest in the material world even to those devotees who are not completely advanced in Krishna consciousness and whose vision is not completely purified. Manomaya indicates that somehow or other Lord Krishna is to be kept within one's mind, and for the non-devotees, Lord Krishna is a sukshama, or most subtle, because he cannot be known. does different acharyas have glorified Lord Krishna in different ways to the transcendental sound vibration of this verse?
Okay. So basically the point is that yes, Krishna is present everywhere, is present in all the various processes. But then Uddhava is not meant to practice all of them because there are different peoples at different levels. So Krishna is described as similar to Bhagavad Gita also. In Bhagavad Gita also Krishna is described so many different processes. It's not meant that Arjuna should practice everything. But then because people are at different levels, so everything he has described. But then of course what Arjuna is supposed to do, then that Krishna told very specifically at the end. So same thing is telling here to Uddhava also. Anyway, I don't know, here in Vishwanath Thakur's direct commentary, it is in this translation here, he says, you do not have any shame in identifying yourself with each item? Oh Uddhav, though I teach all jivas to practice jnana, karma, bhakti, yoga and austerity, what I have just spoken, what I am speaking now and what I will speak is directed to you alone. But have you become qualified for each process by such commands? To me, you are who you are. At this time, you cannot do all of these methods. I say all this to you in a joking, comforting way. I and no one else know the meaning of the Vedas, from which one can understand how one jiva becomes qualified for karma, jnana or bhakti according to his condition. I alone have appeared from the mouth of four-headed Brahma as the Vedas. Krishna then speaks this verse. So then here he is speaking that how he only becomes the sound of the Vedas and the various branches of the Veda. And that's how Krishna gives knowledge to everyone. Okay, 18th verse. Yatha nalakhe nilabhandhurushma balena darunyadimatyamanaha anuprajato havisha samedhate tataiva me vyaktiriyam hivani. Okay, online somebody wants to read?
May I, Prabhuji?
Go ahead.
When sticks of kindling wood are vigorously rubbed together, heat is produced by contact with air and a spark of fire appears. Once the fire is kindled, ghee is added and the fire blazes. Similarly, I become manifest in the sound vibration of the Vedas.
Please read the purport also.
Yes, sure, Prabhuji. Lord Krishna here explains the most confidential meaning of the Vedic knowledge. The Vedas first regulate ordinary material work and channel the fruits into ritualistic sacrifices, which ostensibly reward the performer with future benefits. The real purpose of these sacrifices, however, is to accustom a materialistic worker to offering the fruits of his work to a superior Vedic authority. An expert fruitive worker gradually exhausts the possibilities of material enjoyment and naturally gravitates toward the superior stage of philosophical speculation on his existential situation. By increased knowledge, one becomes aware of the unlimited glories of the Supreme and gradually takes to the process of loving devotional service to the transcendental absolute truth. Lord Krishna is the goal of Vedic knowledge. As the Lord states in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedesha sarver ahameva vedyam. The Lord gradually becomes manifest in the progression of Vedic rituals, just as fire is gradually manifest by the rubbing of firewood. The words Havisha Samidhate, the fire increases by addition of ghee, indicate that by the progressive advancement of Vedic sacrifice, the fire of spiritual knowledge gradually blazes, illuminating everything and destroying the chain of fruitive work. Lord Krishna considered Uddhava to be the most qualified person to hear this elaborate transcendental knowledge. Therefore, the Lord mercifully instructs Uddhava so that he may enlighten the sages of Badrika Ashram, thus fulfilling the purpose of the sages.
Right. So basically here he is saying that how he is manifest in the sound vibration of the Vedas. And that's what is being described over here. So Vishnu Chakra also says the same thing. The gradual manifestation of the Vedas is described with an example. Fire resides as invisible warmth in the space within wood when the wood is first rubbed. With more rubbing of the wood, fire appears in small amount with the aid of air as a spark. When it clearly manifests as fire, it then increases with the addition of oblations. Similarly, I appear gradually as the sound of the Vedas. Without me, who will understand the deep meaning of the Vedas? Having understood, who will establish the methods of bhakti, jnana and karma for delivering the jiva from samsara? By mercy, I am now giving these methods to you, the most qualified person equal to me. The sages in Badrikashram receiving this knowledge from you will be successful. So that is what he is. So he is describing that how ultimately the Vedic knowledge is coming from him. And so all these various processes which he has described, they are all given in the Vedas for different levels of people. 19. Evam gadi karma gatir visargo grano rasodrik sparsha shrutischa sankalpa vijnana bimanaha sutram raja sattvatamo vikaraha.
Online. The functions of the working senses, the organ of speech, the hand, the legs, the genitals and the anus, and the functions of the knowledge acquiring senses, the nose, tongue, eyes, skin and ears, along with the functions of subtle senses of mind, intelligence, consciousness and false ego, as well as the function of the subtle pradhan and the interaction of the three modes of mental nature. All these should be understood as materially manifested form.
Okay, so all these are ultimately Krishna's form. All of them are arising from Krishna's different energies. So this of course has been described in the third canto quite elaborately. In the purport is mentioned, a Krishna conscious person sees the entire material world as a manifestation of the Lord's potencies. Which is the verse from the Bhagavad Gita? The entire world is a manifestation of potency. More specifically? Ayadya vibhuti mat sattvam.
Just one verse before that. That's what.
9th chapter, 4th verse.
That also.
Yeah. Maya tadam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murti namatstani sarvabhutani. There is therefore no legitimate scope for material sense gratification because everything is an expansion from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and belongs to Him. So therefore the last sentence, a sane person giving up this hallucination finds no attractive features in the kingdom of Maya and therefore returns home back to Godheads. Okay, so Vishwanath Chakravarti says, just as the Vedas which arise from my form appeared from the body of Brahma, material sound arises from the body of material persons in a corrupted form. Gadi refers to speech using the material voice. And he's quoting something from the Rig Veda. He says the meaning of the speech is measured in 4 phases. 3 are called para, situated in prana at the base of the spine. Pashyanti, situated in the mind, in the navel. And madhyama, situated in the intelligence in the heart. The sages do not reveal their forms. The 4th, called vaikhari, is speech in the vocal organ. So he's talking about different types of speech. Just as speech is manifested from me, the actions of all the senses of the total and individual jivas are manifested from Prakriti. Action is the function of the hands. Movement is the action of the feet. Execution, function, innocent, gentle. They're all actions. Okay. Identity is function of the Ahankar, Sutra. All of these are manifestations of matter, the stimulus condition. Okay, fine. So basically, ultimately, everything is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. Okay. 20. Ayam hi jivas trivriddabjayonir avyakte ko vayasa saadhyah vishlishta shaktir bahudeva bhati Bijani yonim pratipadya yadvat. Online, somebody wants to read?
When many seeds are placed in the agricultural field, innumerable manifestation of trees, bushes, vegetables, and so on will arise from a single source, the soil. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who gives life to all and is eternal, originally exists beyond the scope of the cosmic manifestation. In the course of time, however, the Lord, who is the resting place of the 3 modes of nature and the source of the universal lotus flower, in which the cosmic manifestation takes place, divides his material potencies, and thus appears to be manifest in innumerable forms, although he is one.
Okay, so all this has been covered in the third canto. This is all about creation, and therefore in the purport you can see there's description of Garvadaksha, Vishnu, and all that. Okay. So, what is the example of the seeds? Towards the end of the purport, from the example of the seeds sown in an agricultural field, we can understand that innumerable manifestation may arise from a single source. Means different seeds are put in the soil and different types of plants grow. Similarly, although the Lord is one, He becomes manifest in innumerable forms through the expansion of His different potencies. Okay. So basically, the Lord is trying to tell Uddhav that ultimately everything is coming from me, therefore he should practice devotional service. That is what is meant for him. That is what he is trying to emphasize. 21. Yasmin nidam protamashesham otam pato yatha tantu vitana samstaha ya esha samsara taru puranaha karmatmaka pushpa phale prasute.
Just as woven cloth rests on the expansion of lengthwise and crosswise threads, similarly the entire universe is expanded on the lengthwise and crosswise potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is situated within Him. The conditioned soul has been accepting material bodies since time immemorial, and these bodies are like great trees sustaining one's material existence. Just as a tree first blossoms and then produces fruit, similarly, the tree of material existence, one's material body, produces the various results of material existence.
Okay, so again this is very clear how the universe is like the threads. So that's how everything is resting on Krishna's potency. Okay, fine, that's pretty clear. 20-23. Dvesya bije shatamula strinala panchaskandha pancharasa prasuti dashaika shako dvisupanna nidas trival kalo dvifalo arka pravishtaha adanti chaikam phalamasya gridhra grame chara ekamaranya vasaha hamsaya ekam bahurupamijjer maya mayam veda saveda vedam. Pado?
Hare Krishna. The tree of material existence has 2 seeds, hundreds of root, 3 lower trunks and 5 upper trunks. It produces 5 flavors and has 11 branches and a nest made by 2 birds. The tree is covered by 3 types of bark, gives 2 fruits and extends up to the sun. Those lusty after material enjoyment and dedicated to the family life enjoy one of the 3 fruits, and swan-like men in the renounced order of life enjoy the other fruit. One who with the help of the bona fide spiritual master can understand this tree to be a manifestation of the potency of the one supreme truth appearing in many forms, actually knows the meaning of the Vedic literature.
Okay, read the purport also.
The 2 seeds of this tree are sinful and pious activities, and the hundreds of roots are the living entities' innumerable material desires, which chain them to the material existence. The 3 lower trunks represent the 3 modes of material nature, and the 5 upper trunks represent the 5 gross material elements. The tree produces 5 flavors: sound, form, touch, taste, and aroma, and has 11 branches: the 5 working senses, the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and the mind. 2 birds, namely the individual soul and the super soul, have made their nest in this tree. And 3 types of bark are air, bile, and mucus. The constituent element of the body. The 2 fruits of this tree are happiness and distress. Those who are busy trying to enjoy the company of beautiful woman money and other luxurious aspects of illusion may enjoy the fruits of unhappiness. One should remember that even in the heavenly planet there is anxiety and death. Those who have renounced material goals and taken to the path of spiritual enlightenment enjoy the fruits of happiness. One who takes the assistance of bona fide spiritual master can understand that this elaborate tree is simply the manifestation of the external potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is ultimately one without a second. If one can see the Supreme Lord as the ultimate cause of everything, then his knowledge is perfect. Otherwise, if one is entangled in the Vedic ritual or Vedic speculation without knowledge of the Supreme Lord, he has not achieved the perfection of life.
Okay. So this is the tree. So tree is there in the Bhagavad Gita also.
It's same, Prabhuji.
15th chapter. Yes, basically this is also tree of material existence only. Only of course description is slightly different. But basically it's the tree of material existence. Same thing. So and that's in the 22nd verse he is describing the tree. And in the 23rd verse he is describing about the enjoyers of the fruits. So two types of enjoyers. So one are the householders. I don't know, Vishwanath Chakravarti says they are compared to vultures. It's not there in the verse, I think, right? In the verse there are vultures. No. Grame charaikam. Anyway, he says compared to vultures. Gridra. Those are lusty for material enjoyment. Okay, anyway, the vultures, those who desire enjoyment, are the householders. Grame chara. They eat the one fruit of the tree, suffering, made of avidya. There is only one fruit, since both hell and heaven are forms of suffering produced by avidya. The sannyasis eat one fruit, happiness, arising from vidya, by discrimination. Since things related to jnana all give happiness. He who knows about the many forms arising through Maya Shakti, through worshipping gurus, knows the real meaning of the Vedas. Okay, and the last verse. Evam gurupasanaeka bhaktya vidya kutarena shitena dhiraha vivrishya jiva shayam apramattaha sampadya chatmanamathatyajastram.
With steady intelligence, you should develop unalloyed devotional service by careful worship of the spiritual master, and with the sharpened axe of devotional knowledge, you should cut off the subtle material covering of the soul. Upon realizing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you should then give up that axe of analytical knowledge.
Okay, there on the 15th chapter also, Krishna says something similar. What he says? Asanga shastrena dridena chitva. One must cut the tree of material existence with the weapon of detachment. Asanga shastrena. So here he says with the sharpened axe of transcendental knowledge. Okay, please read the purport.
Because Uddhava had achieved the perfection of personal association with Lord Krishna, there was no need for him to maintain the mentality of a conditioned soul. And thus, as described here by the words Sampadya Chatmanam, Uddhava could personally serve the lotus feet of the Lord in the spiritual world. Indeed, Uddhava requested this opportunity at the beginning of this great conversation. As stated here, Guru Pashaneka Bhaktya. One can achieve pure devotional service by worshipping a bona fide spiritual master. It is not recommended here that one can give up pure devotional service or one spiritual master. Rather, it is clearly stated by the words Vidya Kutarena that one should cultivate knowledge of the material world as described by Lord Krishna in this chapter. One should fully understand that each and every aspect of the material creation is the expansion of the illusory potency of the Lord. Such knowledge works as a sharpened axe to cut down the roots of material existence. In other words, in this way, even the stubborn subtle body created by the three modes of material nature is cut into pieces, and one becomes apramatta or sane and cautious in Krishna consciousness. Lord Krishna has clearly explained in this chapter that the coward damsels of Vrindavan were not interested in any analytical approach to life. They simply loved Lord Krishna and could not think of anything else. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought that all his devotees should follow in the footsteps of coward damsels of Raja in order to develop the highest intensity of selfless love of Godhead. Lord Krishna has elaborately analyzed the nature of the material world so that the conditioned souls who are trying to enjoy it can cut down the tree of material existence. With this knowledge, the words Sampadya Chatmanam indicate that the person with such knowledge has no further material existence because he has already achieved the personality of Godhead. Such a person should not loiter in the kingdom of Maya, perpetually refining his understanding in the illusory creation. One who has accepted Lord Krishna as everything may enjoy eternal bliss in the Lord's service. Yet, even though he remains in the world, he has no more business with it and give up the analytical procedures for negating it. Lord Krishna therefore tells Uddhava,
Astram.
Tyajastram. Give up the acts of analytical knowledge by which you can cut down your sense of proprietorship and residence in the material world. Thus ends the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 11th canto, 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Beyond Renunciation and Knowledge.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Boli.
Few verses back there is a reference to the Jiva. And again we find commentary that Jiva is referring to the Lord. So in earlier sessions we had discussion about Jiva. And if you remember, the discussion was about how Jiva means conditioned. That's what. So how to understand that?
I don't know, you know better. See, I think so in one verse it was mentioned, no? Jiva refers to the Lord. Some 2-3 verses are there. Okay. Today only it came. So in any case, in accordance to the context, one has to see the meaning. So the acharyas are giving the meaning, so we accept that.
Sridhar Swami says Jiva iti jiva, but then again, how to understand, like as
so what Sridhar Swami says?
One who gives life to others, that Jiva here, it is referred as Parameshwara.
Okay.
I just had this doubt because earlier our discussion was that Jiva means
condition.
So that's how I just wanted.
So whatever the acharyas say, we accept. What else can we say? If acharyas say Jiva refers to super soul, we accept it. If they say it refers to conditioned soul, we accept it. Who are we to think about what this means and what that means? And at least I cannot figure out all these things. So whatever acharyas say, I accept. I don't know, if you have some better explanation, you tell.
No, not for better explanation, just wanted to know because it is, as you said, a lot of debated topics.
No, that is what. So ultimately all debates are resolved with reference to Guru Sadhu Shastra. So we can keep fighting, but ultimately we have to take shelter of Guru Sadhu Shastra. There's no other way. What can I understand with my tiny intelligence? I don't know.
Questions. One is about yesterday only I wanted to ask, but I could not ask. You said that actually first 20 items are primary. So I was little confused because what I studied was first 20 items are the door of bhakti. Door, like that's what Rupa Goswami says. So I was thinking that primary items are the 5 potent forms. So surely you are quoting from Srila Prabhupada, so I would like to know the reference and I can read that proper, because what is primary, what is secondary is the foundational thing.
I think so you can read the Acharya's commentaries on Bhakti Rasamrita.
Yes, I read any specific reference. I'll surely read. I read it once, twice. Again, I will read. I'm sure. So, because primary are, because they only say that it's a door, dwara. Dwara means do's and don'ts, and then you enter into house of bhakti. That is the 44 items. And in that the 5 items are primary items, means like potent items like that. So I was little wanting to clarify. In case
okay, I'll try to find
you have
out.
specific, please, I will go and read.
Yeah, I'll try to find.
Yes, Prabhu. That was one.
So ultimately our reference is basically Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas who quoted on Bhakti Rasamrita.
Yes, so surely it will be there, but I just wanted to see it, to clarify myself.
I don't remember exactly right now.
Because first 20 are about 10 do's and 10 don'ts. Na? It's like, and first 5 are permanent in that. Guru, Padashraya. It's like door. Second question is, this whole chapter is speaking about association of devotees. However, it's not just any devotee. Specifically, again and again it is mentioned, pure devotee, like that. And all the examples which are given by Krishna also are those people like Banasur and all others. They got association of Narada or something of that caliber. So when we say association of devotees, so it is very specific, isn't it? Or it is just any association. No, it doesn't seem like that. So can you explain little bit about this? Because association, because in association also so many things happen in association only, right? So like some statement I was trying to search,
okay.
I could not.
Okay, so regarding your first question, I've opened Nectar of Devotion, and if you want, you also can open.
Yes.
So Nectar of Devotion, chapter 6. Ishwar is in Samadhi.
Chapter 6. Yes, chapter 6. What something?
See, you see the third paragraph. These 10 items are preliminary necessities for beginning the discharge of devotional service and regulative principles. In the beginning, if a neophyte devotee observes the above mentioned 10 principles, surely he will quickly make good advancement in Krishna consciousness. And then he gives 10, and then he gives the next 10 also, and then after the next 10,
The 44 come after that.
no, before that. And then he gives the next 10, and then after the next 10, again what Prabhupada writes? Without following the above mentioned 10 principles, one cannot properly elevate himself to the platform of sadhana, bhakti or devotional practice. Altogether, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions 20 items, and all of them are very important. So you see, the first 20 are considered to be most important, primary. And out of the 20, the first 3 are the most important. So therefore that classification is there. And then the next important item. And then the remaining items.
And then the 44. What Rupa Goswami says is they are door. This is Rupa Goswami, he is explaining that only, that without opening door, how can you practice the 44? Isn't it?
So that means they're primary, na?
So threshold is threshold, and house is house, na? Bhakti. Threshold is that threshold, there, entering the door.
Well, I can't understand so much about door
So
and threshold and all that.
No, these are not my words. These are
whatever it is,
Yeah.
I understand what Srila Prabhupada has given, that much I understand.
For the
Srila
paragraph,
Prabhupada,
what is mentioned,
paragraph
now the
40.
total regulative principles come to an aggregate of 64 items.
From where are
as
you
we have
reading?
mentioned.
From where are you reading?
Same,
Down,
ahead.
down.
The first are the primary 10 regulative principles. Then come the secondary 10 regulative principles, and added to these are 44 other activities.
So now next second becomes secondary now. So I was looking for clarity, but I am okay, that's fine. It's not very clear, at least when you are saying primary, secondary. Now he said secondary. Right?
Now this Prabhupada is writing towards the end of the chapter. You see that? Towards the end of the chapter, this is the second last paragraph Prabhupada is writing.
Now the regulative, that only, na? Now onwards, na?
Now, yes.
Now the total regulative principles comes to an aggregate of 64 items. As we have mentioned, the first are the primary 10 regulative principles, then come the secondary 10 regulative principles, added to these 44 other activities. So altogether there are 64 items discharging devotional, regulative practice of devotional service. Out of these 64 items, 5 items, namely these 5 potent forms, are very important. So that's how...
Yeah, so it's quite clear that the first 20 are most important. That's quite clear.
Okay, for me it appears last 5 are most important, but that's okay, fine, you can have difference. Very important, he is saying very clearly. So that's okay, Prabhu. We are all trying to follow, understand Prabhupada. हाँ वैदी ने आप प्रेमा पे पहुंच गए.
Okay, ठीक है, हो गया. और दूसरा क्या?
Yeah, second question was about pure devotee. This association is spoken about
pure
devotees.
Association of pure devotees. This has been discussed many times. You know that. So who is pure devotee? Yeah, one who is following the process of pure devotional services we consider pure devotee.
Because we hear, like here it is told, hearing from that. So here we have to hear from, associate with those who are aspiring also, but here it doesn't seem to be aspiring. Prabhupada said aspiring is, surely they are pure, but they will become pure, right?
Correct.
So that association also works, or...
Because simple thing, na? Even when Srila Prabhupada was asked, are you perfect? What he said? I may not be perfect, but what I am speaking is perfect because it is coming from perfect source. So I may be a neophyte, but if I am repeating what the Acharya has said, then the words are perfect. So that means, if I am repeating the Acharya's words and somebody is listening to me, he is not taking my association. He is taking association of the Acharya, because the words are the Acharya's words. So just like Srila Prabhupada gives a simple example, he says just like if a child is told this is microphone and somebody asks the child, what is this? He says it's microphone. Now he may not understand exactly what is the microphone, what is function, how it works. He may not understand. But because he has heard from father, he is repeating. So it is perfect. So same principle.
You mean to say that all of us should repeat the words of... We should not speak basically.
Yes, absolutely correct.
Let Prabhupada speak or the Acharya speak, so that we give association of Srila Prabhupada to people.
Absolutely.
So
There's one article. In fact, I had this was written by Pune Prajna Prabhu. In fact, I had sent that article to Revtipati Prabhu to circulate to everyone. I think I don't know if you read it, heard it. You got it? This is about reading. No, not reading. Classes.
Oh,
about Bhagavatam classes. So that entire article is on how to give class, and the gist of that is, give Prabhupada's association to your audience. That is the gist of the article. You have it?
That's so nice actually.
Lodi, we didn't receive it.
Because I feel challenged when someone doesn't repeat, that someone speaks something other than what Prabhupada or... That's a very great challenge actually. Some speculation, some...
You have, no? Okay, you send it. What's the title?
Can you send to the group or whatever? So nice it is. Yes, recently you sent.
That's Pune Prajna Prabhu? No, that is few months back, I think so. Okay, I can send it again. Yes. Actually, I'll send it to Revatipati Prabhu. Let him send it to everyone. Acha, theek hai.
Maybe he has so many millions of things to serve. So here we can get here.
Theek hai.
No, it's fact. I'm not just why you're laughing.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay, this will be the concluding question, huh?
Yeah. No, Prabhuji, actually I want to thank you for
Oh, no.
all your
No, I have to thank you for all the austerity you have taken to attend all these absolutely difficult classes, such a big austerity.
No,
So
Prabhuji.
I'm extremely grateful to all of you for taking out your valuable time and tolerating me and giving me an opportunity to at least read what Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas have given. So it is a great opportunity for me actually to learn in your
Actually, four
association.
things I actually realized that, our actually, reading should be, or preaching should be Shastra based and they should not be on speculation. And also you mentioned, Prabhuji, which I really like that purity, in sadhana we should have purity and it should not be a convenience like chanting on beads. And also, when we have compassion for the soul, it is like not a personal comfort. We actually should go out of our way and should help the other devotees. And one thing, such a striking thing which I like, that loyalty to our guru and parampara. We should not have our any independent ambition other than what our Guru Maharaj or Srila Prabhupada has. So our words, actions, vision, we can, in your words, I can feel the echo of Prabhupada's heart and the urgency to save, conditioned souls like me. And with the courage that you speak, ekdam donkey ki chot pe that you speak. And at the same time, you're very
Too
humble.
much passion, that's the problem.
No, at the same time,
Prabhuji,
you're very humble also,
visions
Prabhu.
are very clear, so it penetrates the heart directly. Visions are very clear. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, for giving at least for me, you gave me an 11th hour entry into this class, Prabhuji. I still remember and I will always be grateful to you for giving me that 11th hour entry into Bhaktivedanta. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you so much,
encouraging
Prabhuji.
words and trying to encourage me in my service. Though I don't know much, I hardly know anything actually.
So that is
I'm
why I
just
thought
reading.
that I should not disown you in any way. So I take it up very seriously. This, at least from Canto 7 to this Canto 12, I said, no, I should take it very seriously. कि अगर मुझे 11th hour entry मिली हुई है तो I should not disown my teachers, at least those who have given me permission.
Thank you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare
Wonderful
Krishna.
class.
What is
Thank
Mataji
you.
saying?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Our
Thank-
visions become more clear, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for kindly agreeing to attend these classes and giving me a chance to do some service.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so I just okay. This is another article, I think.
Got it.
So this is one article: Improving Classes by Krishna Dharma Prabhu. So
Prabhuji, we would also like to know that what is your way of, teaching, the sense that how do you prepare? Because left, right, and center, your purports are so by-hearted, and then even we cannot catch up many times. Some I can catch up, but not all I can catch up. But that left, right, and center in this shloka, Prabhupada quoted this, purport mein ye kholo, wo kholo. How is it that possible? And how can we also, imbibe that same mood, and stick to only Prabhupada's purports?
anyway, I'm simply parrot. So I keep on repeating like parrot, then the parrot keeps on saying the same thing. So that's what, everywhere I go, I keep speaking of the same thing. So for you it may be something new, but I go to 10 places and speak the same thing. So for me it is nothing new. So all of you have to bless me that I can practice something. So I am simply speaking like parrot. That is all.
Hare Krishna. So
wait. Let me. So this very nice article. I just thought whether you read it or not. I thought I'll read the important part of this. So what he basically says is, Sadhu Sang. So he says, Krishna conscious discussion is also known as Ishta Goshti, instituted by Srila Prabhupada. This has largely come to mean meetings where temple business is discussed. We require management meetings, of course, but here is Prabhupada's definition of Ishta Goshti. And then he's giving a reference. For a devotee, there is no point in making friendships with ordinary persons. He should make friendship with other devotees so that by discussing among themselves, they may elevate one another on the path of spiritual understanding. This is called Ishtagoshti. In Bhagavad Gita, there is reference to Bodhayanta Parasparam, discussing among themselves. Generally, pure devotees utilize their valuable time in chanting and discussing various activities of Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya amongst themselves. So, further down he says, Prabhupada wanted us to thoroughly analyze his writings from various perspectives with a view to clearing all doubts. And then reference, he is giving a quote. Try to always study our books and see our philosophy from different lights of directions and become convinced yourself of this knowledge, and without a doubt all your difficulties of mind will disappear forever and you will see Krishna face to face. He did not expect us to just blindly accept what he had written, and explained how by the process of discussion we would gradually become attached to the subject matter. So Prabhupada emphasized a lot about discussion. Okay. Now coming directly to your question about whom to hear from, who is pure devotee. However, although there may well be other pure devotees, okay, so others are also pure devotees, there is no doubt about that. There cannot be any argument that Prabhupada is the right person as described here. He has made his association freely available in his instructions, which are intended for everyone in our society. Those of us who are not his initiated disciples need to find someone from whom we can receive instruction, initiation, but we can also derive immense benefit by hearing directly from Srila Prabhupada through his books, especially in the association of devotees. Perhaps that association will be primarily our own spiritual master, as Prabhupada suggests above. But even if this is not possible, we can still come together to discuss Krishna consciousness on the basis of Prabhupada's teachings. In that way, we will get the association of a topmost sadhu, the Mahabhagavad devotee, Srila Prabhupada. And further down he says, and then he's quoting that same thing what we read yesterday from Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu, the two Bhagavatas. We read that yesterday, right? Yes. The remedy is the association of Bhagavatas, two types of Bhagavatas. And then he says, it is my belief that by deeply and carefully studying and discussing Prabhupada's books, we effectively get the association of both Bhagavatas, the book and the person. As well as this, it is service to Prabhupada, as he explains. To serve the topmost devotee means to hear from him about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Prabhupada so painstakingly produced his books, it surely behooves us to also try painstakingly to understand what he wrote. And by so doing, all the benefits listed above will be ours. And then coming to the gist of the whole thing. As I've shown above, the destruction of anarthas, that nashtapraya shabadrish, or unwanted things in the heart, is the effect of proper satsang. If we are actually associating with Prabhupada through his instructions, this should be happening. What should be happening? Anartha nivritti. However, in my experience, so many of our classes fail to offer Prabhupada's association. Often the speaker will read the verse and purport and then deliver his or her own thoughts on the subject with scant reference to Prabhupada's actual words. Stories, jokes, anecdotes, pep talks, favorite cause espousals, outright speculation, and even mundane discussion of politics or whatever are all too common in classes I have heard. And I have recently made a fairly wide study of them. Even where the speaker sticks to the philosophy, it is still rare to hear a class that adheres closely to Prabhupada's words, seeking to deeply unpack and understand his meaning and then discussing that together. We are thus mostly getting the speaker's association rather than that of Srila Prabhupada, the undoubted sadhu. Some of us may be pure devotees, but speaking for myself, he is writing, and of course I can speak for myself also. I am still a conditioned soul, and I would venture to suggest that many of us called to give class are in the same floundering boat. We are aspiring pure devotees on the path of sadhana bhakti, which means still becoming freed of anarthas.
Floundering boat.
Many of us called to give class on the same floundering boat. Floundering means unsteady boat. And then he's giving a quote from Prabhupada, because conditioned souls cannot give you the truth. I am a conditioned soul. I cannot say something which is absolute, because we cannot take an instruction from a conditioned soul. So the spiritual master, even if you take that he's a conditioned soul, but he does not speak anything from his own side. He speaks from Krishna's side. The Vedic principle is that unless one is not liberated from the material conditions, he cannot give us any perfect knowledge. The conditioned soul, however, he may be academically advanced, educated, he cannot give us any perfect knowledge. As conditioned souls, we must therefore stick very closely to Prabhupada's words in order to not speak anything from our side, as he puts it. I do not, and then he clarifies, I do not want to denigrate means devalue, the value of any devotees association. And I know that many give good talks, but I would suggest that our temple classes, now is specifically saying temple classes, morning and evening, be reserved as sacred time during which we all associate deeply with our founder-acharya. And then he's quoting the GBC resolution, Srila Prabhupada, the founder-acharya, the preeminent Shiksha Guru for ISKCON. You know that resolution. And then here is that reference which Chandramauli Maharaj spoke the other day in the Brahmachari class. You know Chandramauli Maharaj, he spoke the other day in the Brahmachari class about classes throughout the day. Yes, so that reference he is giving here. In fact, I heard this lecture very recently. And this is lecture on 5th canto. You can search 5th canto, 5th chapter, Prabhupada is giving lectures. In one of those lectures, you'll find this. We should have regular classes just like school and colleges. 8 hours, 6 hours. Be engaged always in reading Srimad Bhagavatam, discussing amongst yourself. Then you will make progress. Otherwise, if you take it as an official routine work, you should take as routine work, but with consciousness that we have to learn something. Not simply attending the class, but to learn something. In this way, your life will be successful. Note how he even suggests, now Krishna Dharma Prabhu is writing, note how he even suggests that there be 6 or 8 hours of classes a day, although mostly he would instruct that there be 1 hour of class in both morning and evening. This is another point we discussed in one of the classes. Who is attending evening class here? Anybody is attending? No, it is not there only.
Not happening.
So therefore, this is substitute for that. We discussed in one class before. And then he writes, even this is often minimized, with morning class as short as 30 minutes after all the preliminaries. And evening class non-existent for most. He is also writing. Many devotees do not even attend the morning class. Of course, where temple attendance is not possible, we can conduct our class at home. But the main principle I would stress wherever we hold class is the need to hear the words of Srila Prabhupada. And then he is giving some tips on how to give the class. Fundamentally though, there should be a complete focus on Prabhupada's words. Put the purport up on PowerPoint for everyone to see, or have them bring their own books. Then go through systematically, picking up on his points, diving deeply into the nectar of his words. Take time if necessary. Some purports are long and packed with valuable instructions. Why not spend more than just one day on a verse? So much is missed when we rush through his purports. They deserve more than that, and surely this is what Prabhupada expected. To conclude then, I believe that if we institute more direct hearing from Srila Prabhupada, especially in classes, we will see a fall in our attrition rate. You know what's attrition rate?
We were talking about attrition.
Yes. People leaving. Devotees will better experience the benefits described above and will be less inclined to seek other paltry solutions. That was our whole discussion yesterday. Krishna consciousness will be seen as the all-encompassing remedy for every problem, and we will quickly feel the wonderful effects of Prabhupada's powerful association. Okay, I'll send this article for everyone.
This is very profound article actually. Whether Prabhu is in India, we'll call him here only because it's very
No, Krishna Dharma Prabhu is
here, or so many books he has written. I could never see him actually till now. But it's very profound words, Prabhuji, very relevant, and
yes,
you can send Prabhu. So
yes. Okay, fine.
We are very grateful.
So time is up. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So actually we are extremely grateful that we are getting such a valuable association of Shriman Vamshivadan Prabhu.
No, that's what
very specific.
Not my association.
Yeah, that's why we like it. That's why we like it. So because you don't speak actually, you always quote. So actually very specific things Prabhuji quotes, his purports. It's like a lawyer, very crisp, very eloquent and to the point, and it hits the target actually. Whatever, if someone is asking something with quotation. So that is extremely profound and helpful to increase our conviction. Secondly, the very important emphasis on the core aspects of our movement, that is sadhana, like today he told, and importance of being in ISKCON. Yesterday we had a good discussion and it was very heart touching to see your conviction, Prabhu. Many of us could see that, your connection with Prabhupada. So we are extremely grateful, and especially the last thing what you read is like icing on the cake. All these things are all connected and concluded in that. So this is something very special. So there is no word to thank you. So we express our gratitude and desire to hear from you more and more in future. And surely at least from my side I beg forgiveness for some inconvenience caused because of expressing so-called something. So please forgive me, Prabhu.
You're perfectly in parampara. We just read there should be discussion. So thank you for being an important instrument in expanding discussions.
But if I have displeased you or inconvenienced you, please forgive me.
By that we are all getting a chance to follow Prabhupada's instruction that there should be discussion.
But if it is inconvenience, please forgive me.
So any case, so I would also like to beg forgiveness for any inconvenience or any hurting that took place because of my strong and heavy language that I used, especially yesterday. So please forgive me also for whatever I have said or caused any inconvenience and offenses to anyone knowing or unknowing. Vansha kalpatarubhesha kripa.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
please come and take prasad.
So we'd like to thank Vamshivadan Prabhu by chanting heartily Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
The online devotees are not getting the mark.
Online devotees can get darshan of prasadam. We will show you. Yeah, you come here to.
वो लोग वृंदावन सोसाइटी पार्सल कर दीजिएगा. विश्वजीत कृष्ण प्रभु ने थोड़ा पार्शलिटी किया है. ऑनलाइन डिवोटीज को भी नहीं भेजा.
Online devotees always